Thursdays is why we are here.
Yep.
I'm very excited to talk to two of my favourite people in the whole world. Nick, hi.
Hello.
And also Tom, hello.
Also, Tom, yes, fine. Yeah, I'm good. I don't have any exciting stories. I just read a book. It was fine.
That's an exciting story. That's
Yeah.
most of my full-time job. So if you wouldn't mind criticising
I prefer people telling me about books and me having to actually read them.
I mean, I'm not even gonna
me.
tell you about the whole book, so you're getting
Aw.
shortchanged, my dude. That's gonna work.
So hello to everyone live on Twitch. Hello, thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube, big love to you. Please leave us some comments. Any comment will do. Whatever you want, just say random things so the algorithm.
So long as it's
high.
not anti-TOS, we're fine.
Random stuff. Yeah.
Just random stuff, please. Just tell me about your day. I'll reply. Yeah, I'll just be like, sweet. I'll reply to that.
I'd go for just a full stop.
I mean, and I'll reply with thank you very much for your feedback.
Yeah.
Big love to everyone listening on the podcast. Stay hydrated, and also
Never rinse after you've brushed your teeth.
apparently,
Well, for a few minutes it's fine because you got to let the I think it's the thermide or something, whatever's in the toothpaste soak into
Fluoride. Fluoride.
Fluoride, that's it. The fluoride.
There you go.
What's formaldehyde used for?
I don't know.
Dead bodies.
I'm pretty certain it's used for something in construction. I don't know.
We are really showing that we don't know
Really?
much about things. So, hello everyone, welcome to the show. Today's topics are going to be what it's like to not have the internet.
True.
That's going to be one part of it. It's not. Another part of it is going to be Nick just fucking with my cameras. I was going to do this to Nick. That's what he gets. And we're going to talk about Nick's time in the Netherlands, and also we're going to talk. Tom is going to tell us about what happened with Faith and Fury 2.
I'm going to tell you bits about what happened.
Litany Boogaloo. Is that correct?
Settle down. Yeah. I've got some bits. We got some Chaos Space Marine action. We got some Space Marine action, and we got some Black Templar action going on in there.
All right, I'm very excited.
Nice.
Scrivo, thanks for subscribing for 25 months. Oh my God.
He's a quarter of the way there.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know we hit 25. That's fun. Penguin2000, retisanti.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Anyone who is watching live on Twitch, let us know and give us a shout out. Tom, let's talk about you. How are you? What's been going on?
I'm good,
in
man.
the
Well,
world of Tom?
I say I'm good, but I have painted models for fun this week, which was weird. That's not normal, so I've got this. I'll bring it up on the screen because obviously we've still got that. I've got this old metal Inquisitor model. I'm going to be really careful not to drop it. And his sword fell off, so I've replaced it with a chain sword. I've also been using some of these texture paints on the base, but I need to paint over. And I've been trying out a few of the contrast paints as well, which I didn't like too much, just base. I think the yellow is still cool and the greens are still cool, but
Did
the reds
thin
and the
down
blues.
contrast paints at all?
I didn't, no. So what I've done instead is I've then dry brushed over the top so it doesn't look quite as like gloopy. And then with the red in particular, because it's such like a big piece, I ended up like going over the top with Carabao Crimson Wash just to make it pop a little bit more. And so it isn't like as gloopy, but it's also not quite as dry, you know what I mean? And it's more fluid as a cloak. So I've been enjoying like playing with that. Apart from that, I've not really been doing too much. I've been taking a break from 40k for the week after 3 tournaments in a row, which has been quite nice.
Yeah, you got a detox, so you're fresh for your next one, haven't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's you do need to take time away and just have a little bit of a break, I think, and it also is really good for like reattacking the hobby because sometimes you can get stuck into a list or stuck into an idea of how you want to play, and then it's nice to step back from that and think, well, what is it that I want to do, and also to hobby some things because we talk about that all the time, but producing. The army is a huge element of what we have to do. So it's nice if you actually enjoy doing it, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the calm before the storm before chapter approved hits. I don't really want to buy anything at the minute because I don't know what's coming. So I'll just paint up odds and ends that aren't getting used at the minute in the hope. But one day I'll get to use it.
Does anyone have any clue as to when we're going to see chapter approved?
Isn't it like the first or second weekend of December?
Wow.
Something like that.
New
It's not
chapter
far away
approved
at all.
missions.
Yeah.
Do you think we're actually going to see? Do you think we're going to see any radical changes, or do we think we're going to see something?
Well, it's one of those things that would have been sent to print a few months ago, so it'll probably be whatever was like really strong, like a while ago. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something about Eldar Plains. Maybe we get something about Orcs. Maybe we get something about Tau as well. I would be incredibly surprised if we get anything about Marines because I think it's too recent. So I think Maroons will stay pretty strong until at least March, April time when the new FAQ hits.
Well, I think that's a nice time to bring up the
Yeah.
Imperial Fists / Salamanders FAQ.
Mm.
Yeah, which came out. But before that, I just want to say hello to Alandro Mamdir, who says, "Come on, let's get the internet going.
Come on, internet.
Let's go.
Come on.
McPhee, I hope you're doing well." And he says that formaldehyde is used by pathologists,
There you go.
which I think as many pathologists should be in jail as possible. I think just murdering that many people is bad. I think.
Or making that many paths.
Yours is better. Yours is better. Alandro Warhammer Legends is coming out the same time as chapter approved, confirmed the Rebd Gobbo rules article. So Warhammer Legends, so they're going to put, they run concurrent with what they've done with Age of Sigmar, which is all that they have done for 40k pretty much. I think what they're going to do is release a Legends section. So all of the miniatures that you might have seen in Penguin 2000, thanks for subscribing.
Whoop.
All of the models that you've seen in the indexes, they'll all be in Warhammer Legends. So they'll be no longer supported by Games Workshop.
Does that mean you can't use Tomb Kings in tournaments anymore?
You can. That's the exact point.
There
But
you go.
my question is, do you think Space Marine tactical squads are going in there? Are they going into the stuff of Legends?
They're in the codex. They're in the Space Marine Codex.
Oh yeah, good point.
So
Okay, all right, fair enough.
there'll be some stuff. In
Maybe
there, like
maybe at some point, but
Chaplain
not right
on,
now.
Like
Yeah.
Dreadnought with autocannons.
Is Tech Marine on bike in the index only, or is it in the codex as well?
I don't think he's in the Codex Tech Marine on bike now.
No,
Okay, well, good.
get that legend in your army. Mac Cypher in the chat says, my wife's a pathologist, and he's also subscribed for 4 months.
All right.
Thanks very much. I'd like to analyse your pathology. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone get up Google and find out what this actually means before we ruin ourselves.
No, I'm not doing it. So to bring up the Imperial Fist and Sally's FAQ. So have you guys seen it, and what do you think of it?
I've not looked in detail, but I've seen both the FAQs. The only thing I was really interested in was the Salamander stratagem change.
Self-sacrifice.
The self-sacrifice one, yeah.
And Tom, did you see it?
Yeah, and I also saw, just to add to that, so what that is effectively now you can only pick one unit within 6 inches, and you can't shoot it at a target rather than making your entire army untargetable. There was another useful change in there, though, which was in the Imperial Fists Codex. So what you could previously do was a roll of a 6 would cause a mortal wound to a vehicle to wound. But what it now is an unmodified roll of a 6 rather than a flat roll of a 6, because what people were previously doing was they were using the Chaplain Litanies to make your unit with that stratagem have a +1 to wound. So now you'd be proccing those mortal wounds on 5s. You can't do that anymore.
And there was even a way to get down to 4s.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've stopped that. But interestingly, so they changed self-sacrifice. So you now have to have a unit wholly within 6 inches, and it can only be one unit, and it can only be one infantry unit.
And yes, you can't do it because it has to be a minimum of 3 models in the unit to do it. So you can't have a character in a ruin blocking doing that.
Yeah, so they rewrote it like ground up basically, which I think everyone thinks is a smart play. But then for absolutely no reason at all, so the special rule that allowed you to do mortal wounds on 4s to wound from flamer attacks, they just immediately nerfed, and they were like, no, only potentially ever 3 mortal wounds from that system.
That seems like a rather arbitrary number, though.
Yeah, it absolutely is an arbitrary number, and it's just a horrific, like, smash nerf for no reason. Like,
well, I think I don't know what the super combo was, but was it something to do with aggressors shooting twice with flamers? Could get like, and you could max all the auto hits.
Yeah.
So if they got like, I don't know, let's say about 100 automatic flamer hits, half of them doing mortal wounds. Was a ridiculous. I think that was the super combo.
But I mean, you should be vaporizing whatever you hit, though, right? It's basically just like a guaranteed kill, pretty much.
Yeah, but you are spending CP, and also it's 8 inches, so you have to get it's not that easy to get a unit of a Flamestorm Gauntlets.
Well, I mean, you can still make it 11 inches, though, right, with the successor chapters.
Yeah.
But maybe you change that, right?
I still don't think it was a particularly necessary nerf. Personally, I think.
Oh yeah, true. I agree.
I think the
Yeah.
idea of there being one super combo in the Salamanders book is fine.
Yeah.
And the self-sacrifice thing was odd as well, right? It kind of came out of nowhere. It was just an odd, random, incredibly good stratagem, and then they were like, "Well, we'll nerf that." It's like, well, why did you make it? Like the salamander, like the flame one, makes way more sense. You can still do something pretty cool with the salamander stratagem. So if you were playing ITC, you could put the unit right in front of a building or a magic box, some people call it, and then you can have a unit on the top floor. So they could be on the bottom floor. Have a unit on the top floor behind them. Yeah. So then you could self-sacrifice with the unit on the ground, which can't be seen, so you can't shoot the unit at the top.
That's still only one unit protected though, right? And it's 2 CP. So, but maybe you can like build a brick around it, like for example, a squad of 12 breaches or something.
Or Centurions.
Yeah, the difference with Centurions though is that they're generally quite short range. You're not really getting over damage out with the bolters. You get the damage out with the hurricane bolters. When I say bolters, I mean you're not getting the damage out with the heavy bolters. You're getting out with the hurricane bolters. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So an odd set of nerfs, and really we saw Imperial Fist do super well at the local GT here in Nottingham, and they've generally done quite well in gaming tournaments all over. So getting lightly touched is an interesting option, but Salamanders getting hammered seems really odd. So
Racist.
deeply racist.
It's deeply racist.
So that's the Imperial Fist and Sally's FAQ. But overall, so what do you think of that? Classic Games Workshop, like, because you can still do a ton of mortal wounds out of the Imperial Fists, right? With their bolt of fire and the mortal wound strat. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, and arguably more than
It does seem weird that they would only nerf the Imperial Fist one slightly, but then the Salamander one gets capped at 3, whereas the Imperial Fist one could probably get way more than 3.
Yeah, way more
Regularly.
Yeah, I don't really.
That does seem odd.
I mean, the damage out of the Imperial Fist to vehicles isn't necessarily even predicated on the amount of mortal wounds you kick out. It's predicated upon the extra damage, which is the main issue. And even then, like, I think there's actually some really funny stuff that also ruins knights and also kicks repulse a little bit in the Faith and Fury book, which we can go over later. So it's not a good time to play knights at the minute, I don't think.
No.
All right.
Unless you're me, of course.
Unless
in
you're
which
playing
case
at the
it's
League
fine.
of Knights tournament, which is happening next week.
Yeah, if
2
you want to play,
weeks.
if you want to play with,
great
if
place
you
to
want to
play
play with
knights.
your knights and you want to have fun playing your knights, you can come to the League of Knights because you
And
won't have fun playing them anywhere
I'll
else.
include a link in the show notes below.
True.
Okay. All right, so that's a bit of news that came out this week, Imperial Fist and Sally's. And that was part of Tom, how you were. Are you well?
I've got a cold, mate, but apart from that, I'm fine. Yeah.
All right, Nick, how are you? What's going on? Liam Jordan, thanks for subscribing.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
lovely man. Yeah.
I'm pretty good, thanks, Rob.
Good.
Yeah, had a awesome weekend away last weekend.
Yes, that's going to be what we talk about, aren't we? We can talk. That's part of what we're talking about today.
Yeah, and I've not done any Warhammer since, so
Okay, but so you,
I've done some hobby, but that's for I've been making the trophies for next weekend for the League of Knights.
oh, exciting. So you travelled to the Netherlands, right?
I did, yes.
To compete in a 6-game ITC tournament.
Yeah, 6 rounds, 2,000 points.
Wow, no messing.
There wasn't much more comp than that. They had some rules about the terrain, so they were quite specific about the terrain, because they had on the tables quite a lot of walls that you can't go through, and then ruins that infantry can go through, and they were like very specific in their pack about what was what.
Okay,
which was very good.
well that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that in the future. Apparently need to turn you up
Got to adjust something.
So,
Or should I just speak louder?
yeah, I think it's just,
I shall just speak louder. I did find out in the Netherlands. So speaking to Dick over in the Netherlands, said that they all speak very loudly. So we were in a restaurant and I was like talking normally. They're like, "You're gonna need to speak up. Can't hear you."
I mean, you can tell I've
me
got
shouting is your normal voice.
you can tell I've got a bit of Dutch in me because that makes total sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what my excuse is in any way, but loud is the answer. Okay, so good. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. But there's some news. There's some 40k news. Pretty big news. So the Sisters of Battle box set went on sale.
And it went off sale.
Now,
Did it make it to the shop?
this is really important. I went on pre-order. Didn't
Okay.
even get into the shop. This is what's really important. Games Workshop absolutely smashed it with their stocking. Kind of like the guy in charge of deciding how many put in for stock, and they sold out in an hour.
All right.
An hour. So
It took as long as an hour.
it took as long as an hour. Well, because the site kept getting crashed.
That makes sense.
DDoSed.
Yeah.
So
I-
just
Buy other misogynists. No, you can't buy any.
well,
Apparently, according to Viking XDK, it was 6 minutes even.
There you go.
can I just say big shout out to Dude Our Day, who is just celebrating his 2nd birthday with us.
All right.
I've been here longer than Mike Stand Tom's defeated arch enemy, the Mike Stand. I like that Tom now has had to defend it, go to his own studio.
Yeah.
1 second.
Had to back down.
But no, that'll ruin podcast listeners. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna punch a microphone.
So this is about sold out in 5 minutes. So can we?
So did they not make enough, or was there too much demand? Or
No,
like...
well, they didn't make enough. Is the point, right? So I have a question. Well, I have a small thought. Well, a couple of thoughts to say about this. Like,
Okay.
not much, because we already know that Games Workshop stock really badly, and it's part of their design philosophy to
To
intentionally
be shit at stocking.
Yeah, to be shitting. Yeah,
Yes.
but like to create scarcity. But as a business strategy, it's super odd because obviously all that really happens is then scalpers buy a couple of boxes. Like I know Sigmar players who have bought boxes with the intention of just selling them.
Really?
Which makes total sense because if you're going to just double your money. Now, obviously, the rest of the community are like, how dare you be a scalper? But it's not the scalper's fault. It's absolutely Games Workshop's fault and no one else's. Like, because I don't think if everyone who wanted to buy a box got one box, I don't think that there still would have been enough boxes. I don't think even close. I think there were some people who wanted way more than one box of those models, like a couple of boxes at least. So, have you guys got any thoughts or feelings about this particular issue?
No.
Oh, well.
I was tempted to scalp one. Didn't know, but you know.
I think
It's just
maybe
like-
they should, if like I know, like with like gig ticket sales, they often like restrict you to like buying one. They should have probably.
Well, they already did that.
Oh, they already did that. With just one person per one
Yeah,
box per
but
person.
there's
I mean, you
nothing to
just
stop-
use different email addresses.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Oh, well,
Yeah, there's
there you
nothing
go.
to stop
There
you
you
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I mean, aren't they opening up a second like warehouse or some shit?
Yes, they are. Like, there's some really big news. Like, while I was there, so obviously they've had a climactic rise as a business in the past 4 years. While I was there, they went from they had a set of printers so they obviously manufacture most of the sprues on site. So they used to have an 8-hour shift doing all the sprues. Then it turned into 2 8-hour shifts making sprues, and then eventually it turned into 3 8-hour shifts. So the machines were working 24 hours a day. Then they ordered more printers in. So like they restocked a different part of the business and moved some stuff. And then they were still on a huge backlog because just so much was being bought, which obviously was reflected in their stocks. But that doesn't really matter because I don't understand the philosophy of just not having everything in. Why wouldn't you have that Scissor Battle box so that everyone in the world could buy a box of it? It seems really odd to me. And I saw a lot of people criticizing the people buying a box and selling it. And while like you are maybe depriving someone, like at the end of the day, like the company itself should be making enough boxes so everyone should be sated, right?
Also, you could be making like 200 quid off just like buying a box set at the right time.
Yeah.
And then just listing on eBay. Like that's like the easiest 200 quid you'll ever see.
Ever. How easy is that to make? Like, how can you turn around and say to someone like, don't do that? But like, man, look how easy that is. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's like dudes that like walk into like. Have you ever seen like Antiques Road Trip or programs like that?
Oh yeah.
Where they just like walk into like a store and then they just like buy stuff and they're basically just taking advantage of the fact that the person in the store doesn't really know what it's worth. And then they like flog it at an auction and they like make money sometimes. It's basically like that, isn't it? Like people just like, oh, I see something that's like worth way more to someone than what they're charging because of the scarcity. So I'm just going to be having that antique Warhammer that was been out for like a day, slamming, free cash.
So Games Workshop making them scalpers.
Yeah, so that's
They're
so
creating the monster.
Well, this is the other thing as well. Like, it's the most hype release that they've ever done because not only they've showcased it time and time again. There's been articles. We've kept up with it. It's the biggest release ever, and it's the only. There's no digital version of the codex available, right? Like, there's no digital version of the codex on pre-order. So the only version of the codex you can buy is inside the box. It's super weird.
Or you could just like find it, like just remember it. It'll be fine.
Well, it feels like what they've done is they've moved something around in the schedule and something else that should have been ordered, like now.
9th edition 40k.
9th edition 40k. It feels like a big switch around. So yeah, I think, anyway, interesting little side note that they got sold out. If you got a copy and you're happy about that, that's great. If you didn't get a copy,
Flog it to me, and then I'll flog it on.
how much?
Not scalping. I'm just
how much
buying
are you
it.
gonna flog it on by?
I'll mark it up by about 200%. That'll be fine.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I think that's what everyone else was doing, basically. 20 years in the making. Imagine selling out in 1 hour. And as someone in the chat was saying, if you're like in New Zealand or Australia or America, you might not be seeing some more of that for months.
It's okay. It makes it just all that's doing is like I think GW are being really selfless there because what they're essentially doing is saying if you want to get these models, you have to come and visit the UK. So in the light of Brexit, they're trying to get like a lot of tourism to the UK.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah.
Through Sisters of Battle tourism.
Yeah,
That's
I
how it works,
really
yeah.
appreciate that.
Do you reckon you can apply for a visa just for get Sisters of Battle?
I mean, I reckon people will. People have been loving this shit, dude.
Loads of nerds loving it. Yeah,
Especially if you make it fucking overpowered.
And anyway, so that's some news, some hot gossip. And again, and do you know what? I was never interested in the Sisters of Battle ever. Like,
Really?
I never got it.
No.
No, I like the Sisters of Silence. Give me the Sisters of Silence Codex. Now you're talking my language.
I tell you what I do really like about The Exorcists. I like the idea of like a floating organ just like firing shit out the top of it, just like wrecking people. I think that's kind of cool, but apart from that, it's not really my thing.
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm not too stressed about it. Oh, the Down Under Network is in the chat.
Oh yeah, it's Diff. Hi Diff. You're all right, mate.
Now he's great, and if you
He is a good dude.
He is great, and if you've never checked out the Down Under Network, you should check them out. I think. But anyway, that motherfucker knows the spreadsheet.
I've got an
like
Aussie
no one
shirt
else
in the
knows.
other room,
really?
but I'm not going to get up and get it because I'm not wearing any trousers under the desk. So.
Wow. Aussie.
Oh, we'll see that.
Either way.
Neither way.
That's standard protocol for ladies' night.
Anyway, so that's some news. The other news is if you're a Blood Angels player, is the new Mephiston model has been released.
I hate it.
You hate it.
I really don't
Are
like
you a
it.
Blood Angels player though? You're a Space Wolf player.
Mate, no, legit. Okay, right, hold up. 1 second.
All right. Are we about to see just some random Reds shit?
No, it's some sanguinary guard, but there you go, mate. I've got some sanguinary guard there. There you go. And then I've got Nikos. You're gonna love this, mate. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? This right. Oh my word! I just poured my entire Blood Angels army down the back of my case. Oh no!
I'm enjoying this, by the way.
Might
No,
improve it,
mate.
Tom.
So I've got a shut up. I've got a case like a big like IKEA tray, and oh shit. And it's got
The
my
show
army
and tell
on it.
isn't going very well, Tom.
I'm also absolutely loving this. As
The
audio.
shelf just fucking shit. It just fell down. Oh fucking hell. Oh, alright, it's all right. Alright, I'll fix it. Fuck it.
Live on the internet. How is this genuinely happening?
I'll
This is
fix
like a
it later,
comedy
mate.
sketch that shouldn't be
Mate.
allowed.
I'll fix that in a bit, but it'll be fine.
Are you okay?
I've got. This is a Baal Predator.
Was it
I
worth
spent
showing us? It's on a
fucking
square
ages
base.
painting, and it's on a square base. Look at that.
Square or
Mate.
rectangular?
It took me rectangular. It took me fucking ages to paint this, but like I
Oh,
put
yeah.
so much effort and love
Oh,
into
yeah.
this. I'm gonna get a light
There's
box
a gene stealer
over
on there, isn't
Christmas.
Is there a gene sealer on there?
There isn't, no. Like, I mean, there might be after what I just poured down the back of my case, but you know, that's not intentional. I'm gonna get a light box. I've even got weathering down the side there, but look at that.
Can I ask why you ever decided to put it on a square base?
Oh, because I was gonna make a display board out of all the square bases.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I was gonna put it in like my frame, and it was gonna be banging, but it was gonna
And
be
what
good.
happened?
I didn't finish the rest of the army. That's what I got finished.
Okay, good.
Finish the rest of the army
Nice.
another time. I need to do my Inquisitor first.
Is this the honest what came version of the BBC reporter when the baby walked in?
Yeah, perfect. Legit. Well, I want to know what I've just poured down the back here, but.
So do we, Tom. Let's derail the whole show.
Oh no, but it's a sanguinary guard arm. We'll sort that out later.
Is he okay?
No, he's got no arms. That's fine. We'll glue it back on later.
Bar on Saturday. Thank you so much for subscribing for the quality content that you
Yeah.
are watching right now.
Absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Every Thursday.
You could tell I'm also from the shit show that is the Allies of Convenience, which is like dick jokes and off script, and it's fucking bullshit. Like, it's fine. It worked out. We've got the Bar Predator out. You got to see it. You're welcome. Now fuck off.
Right. So, but the thing we were talking about before that is, look at that fella, Mephiston.
Lord Mephiston.
Lord Mephiston, the only Space Marine, well, the only Blood Angels to ever survive the Black Rage.
Rob, why is your picture square, bud?
Uh,
Sorry.
That's a sore subject.
It's a sore subject, and you know why, Tom. It's because Nick can never take a photo that's not an oblong.
I mean, that's normally Nick's camera, so it's just naturally become an oblong.
Yeah, it's an oblong.
Right. All right. I'll tell you what I don't like about this. You ready?
No, I disagree with you already because
All right,
he's
fine.
fantastic. Tell me what you think.
All right. I like the cape.
Right?
I kind of even like the sword. I kind of like his skirt. I don't like how static he is on the top half.
Thanks for the bits, Dinode.
And I don't like he looks like he's like straight burst out of his skin on his chest.
Right. So my first thoughts are his like helmet-y like spike bit with the cloth material behind it.
Yeah.
That is also silly.
I feel that serves
psychic
zero
hood.
tactical
It's
purpose.
his psychic hood.
It's not as bad as Abaddon's,
Is it?
though.
Yeah, he's a psychic, so that's his psychic hood.
But it's not a hood though, is it? It's a psychic kerchief.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like. I don't
What the
know.
horns for then, Beth?
Yeah, what's that for there? Then?
That's just to generate the psychic power and contain it within his head area.
He's gonna have terrible time turning with that. That's gonna
Like,
be,
okay,
he's
so-
not
so
gonna be able
Scriv-
to see left or right out of
So
there.
Scrivo's raised this point that it's based on the artwork and it's meant to look like that. Well, if the artwork looks shit, then
Oh, the artwork doesn't look shit. The artwork it's based on is fucking cool.
Yeah, the
Have you
artwork
seen
it's
it?
based on is very cool. I agree with that
Really
completely.
cool.
Do you not like it, Tom?
well, it looks fine, but I just won't make a model of it. It's just
Right.
like the
What-
original basing of it is flawed.
What does the Twitch chat think? That's my question. Twitch chat.
Because there's a couple of poses, isn't there? There's the one with the plasma pistol, and then there's
Yeah, there's one where he's sniffing his
is-
finger, and there's one where he's got his plasma pistol just stood
Well,
there shooting a pistol at
If
someone.
you just fired,
Right.
you'd sniff your fingers, right?
Yeah,
Right, true. Like I do, but
gotta
that's
check-
beside
you
the
gotta
point.
check it.
Like,
yeah. Check
All
yourself,
right.
Tom, before you wreck
So-
yourself.
when I'm Mephiston, I am flying over there with my big fucking sword ready to like mess up some motherfuckers, right? I'm not just standing there like leaning back shooting at people with my plasma pistol, am I?
I disagree. Couldn't disagree
What?
more.
So
in
if
fact.
you've got like fucking wings of sanguinius, you're this big ass motherfucker that just like buries himself in rubble and just climbs his
Tom,
way out.
he survived the Black Rage. He's emotionally scarred
and now
by
he's just stood there doing
by
fuck all.
remembering his own father being murdered. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the hands of an evil.
Yeah.
Evil
And
son
what-
of a gun.
Yeah. And what do all the other Death Company do? They use that rage and they use it to fuck up some people. Like,
Yeah, but like the Death Company, they're in the moment. They're full of rage. And they don't know what's going on. They're just
right? So he's
They're
full
just
of rage. He
fighting
just
things for the
use
sake
it
of
to
fighting
like
things,
be
but-
sad and play My Chemical Romance remixes. Like, Look at him,
Remixes.
sat there.
Why would you ever play a remix of basically some of the best music you could ever listen to?
because you've got to ruin it some way, man. Come
Oh
on.
my god! Listen. Well, I think so. My thoughts
Nah,
are
I'm not a
he
fan.
looks.
Not a
That's
fan.
the original artwork. I put it up on the screen. Screen. It looks great.
Makes me scream.
Yeah.
he looks cool as hell.
He
It
looks
looks
cool as
blurry.
hell. How dare you, sir?
It looks fucking blurry, dude.
Well, it's just because you got bad internet.
My internet's fine. It's not my internet. It was causing the stream to crash.
Wow. Rude. Why have you got to bring that up so soon? All right.
You went in, mate. I'll come and defend
So
myself.
and that also means that there's a Blood Angels book coming out, right?
Well, they got
Yeah,
some
it
stuff in
does.
the-
I
in the
think.
Faith and
Yeah,
Fury thing.
I think there've been some memories floating around on the internet somewhere.
There have been.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at them,
Memories.
but I know they're there.
So a Blood Angels codex or a supplement.
Campaign book.
Oh god.
It's kind of like the Vigilus stuff that we had before.
Why can't we just release codices like normal people?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't want to carry 7 books to my
Because,
talk.
no,
they want-
because
because they want
it's
to force
new, more
competitive
streamlined
players.
40k.
They want to force competitive players who want those juicy rules to pay for all the narrative and that kind of stuff.
And
as well.
also to have to carry 8 books.
Yeah.
It's just going to result in me taking pictures of all the slates I'm using on my iPad and then just taking that to a tournament because it's
Or
easier. to carry
best
over.
app of 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, Battlescribe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Which I sometimes suspect Games Workshop actually made.
They just fund it in the background. It's
They just
like,
fund it in the background very quietly. Yeah.
It's like Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's controversial on this website.
Yeah,
Can't
there's
say
data
that.
sheets of Mephiston, Lamartis, and Astroth have leaked. But yeah, Blood Angels are going to be in the Psychic Awakening Part 3.
Part 2.
Great.
No, not Part. No, Part 3.
That's the
we're
point. Why
talking
is
about
it
part two
right?
today.
Can I ask a very important question here?
Please do.
Why are the Black Templars in a book called The Psychic Awakening?
Well, because they like hurting them emotionally. What Tom is referencing
And
is
they
that
want to
they
put everyone
have.
to sleep.
Huh?
They also want to put all the psychers to sleep.
They
so-
do. They do. They do. Exactly.
Like the vet.
Yeah. They want to wake them up from being like space wizards to being dead. I think. In case you're not understanding what Tom's talking about, the Black Templars eschew any form of psychic powers in their Space Marine Legion. No.
So do Space Wolves apparently, but then they have rune priests. So
Yeah, it's a priest, not a psyker.
they're just runes, guys. It's totally not magic.
Just runes. Yeah, that's science. That's
Pay
how it
no
works.
attention to the man behind the curtain. It's fine.
Bonkloger, who says, who's playing 40k competitively now anyway? Tom, didn't Marines make it a first turn bonanza?
And I don't know, but all I'm going to say is Viking. Yes, they were, but they also use like the sick Eldar Psychers because Doom is broken.
Ah, good. Dulade says, Tom, 100 bits for you, Tom, to use Logic against Games Workshop.
Thank you.
100 bits.
I'll put that in Nikos' Tesseract Vault Fund.
It's the power of Fenris, not the warp. But warp spelled with an O is the best. Okay, right. So look, let me read out because this is a new section and it's just carried on for way too long. The Mephiston fella's coming out. He's got a plasma pistol. Why aren't you excited about that, Nick? I'm up for this guy.
Me, I want him to blow himself up.
I think he looks radical.
Yeah, I love the model, but I would not give him the plasma pistol because it looks better without it.
What would you
Also,
give
he
him?
might blow himself
The
up.
coughing hand, the bum sniffing, bum finger sniffing hand.
Why would you do
Because
that
that's where the
pose?
thing is going.
Because it looks cooler and it's like the artwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, there's an unboxing video from that lovely fellow with the great accent, Paul Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Is he
Yeah,
that dude from Bowls?
Voice,
So,
like,
I
voice
am-
like honey.
Voice like honey. So I imagine he's not from Battle of Souls. So I imagine he probably thinks it's a 10 out of 10 item. So would I if people just gave me free shit, right? But that's why I don't let them give me free shit because it's bad for business.
I mean, you can give me free shit though.
Huh?
It's fine.
No pleasant for plastic here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I've broken the stream, boys.
No, you haven't. You just put up a picture of one of Nikos' games.
Yeah,
Spoilers, Rob.
Just ignore that.
I don't know what's even going on in that picture though.
Okay,
I mean,
right, we're all
by the way,
okay.
Nikos, that is a square, mate.
No.
How would you define a square for me, Tom?
It's like 4 sides that are all equidistant.
Exactly. And 2 of them are the same length, 2 of them are different lengths. That's not a square.
I honestly
No.
don't know how to turn this off.
Right, hold on. Where's my ruler? Right, I've got my dice box over here. Let me get my tape measure out. 1 second. Fucking
Oh no,
right.
I have really broken it.
I can't break this.
Is a disaster of a stream.
I mean, they can hear
there's
it.
no, there's no organisation. I'm clearly not in charge. We're just
Let me just mute my microphone.
Why? Why would you do that? We're live. What's your plan?
This is an important detail of a podcast, Rob. So here's what I've got. You can't see me anyway,
Thank you,
but I have
Spivo.
got a tape measure. Hold up. Let me have a cheeky look over here. I can't because my microphone's in the way. So that's almost 7 inches. And that's, oh fuck, it's 5.5 inches. Okay, that's a rectangle. That's fair. It's just more
There you go.
square.
Vindication.
All right, Sam.
I've cracked it.
Fair
I've
play.
cracked it. We're
All right,
back.
all right.
Okay, we've done it.
Okay, we sorted it. We've also established that it is, in
If
fact,
you would like
a
to nominate us for some sort of podcast
Yeah, if
Twitch
you-
stream award for that last segment,
I'm not saying we do the world's best coverage,
Yeah.
but we do. But do we do the world's best live stream?
This kind of
Agreed
feels
also.
like old school life after the cover save. Not
This
gonna
is-
lie.
This is old school us. We were late. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Blood Angels. You guys don't seem to care. Like,
No,
there is people out there who care. Do you
I'm
care?
no, I really care about the Mephisto release because it was one of the first ever Space Marine characters that I bought. Because Blood Angels, along with Iron Hands, were the first Space Marine army that I ever collected when I was a little boy. And I fucking loved the Mephisto model. I think it's probably my favourite special character from Marines.
Yeah, because his
Mephisto.
story's so cool.
Yeah, his story's badass, and the model.
His story is a Mary Sue.
The old model was still pretty cool for an old metal miniature.
It was.
Still a really cool model, and then this is a really nice update. I love that they've matched that really awesome piece of artwork. Yeah, so
Are you not getting a bit sick of that one swooshy cape pose that they do on everyone now, though?
no.
You're okay with it?
I can't get enough of painted cloaks and cloaks on Marines.
Is that true?
Honestly, I'd never get bored of them. Never.
Interesting.
I'm bored of power.
They intimidate me.
I don't like seeing power armor.
What would you like to see? Power
Take it off.
garters?
Take it off. Take it off.
No, just like power armor covered up with cool robes and shit.
Have you tried doing? Has anyone ever painted up? I know some people have, but I really want to do like camo power armor.
Yeah, I'd love to do camo power.
That would look rad as f.
well,
I
easy to
think.
do as well. Because I just use the same technique as I did my orcs, just sponging it on. Dead easy.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the Blood Angels release is the news. It's pretty exciting. If you're a Blood Angels player, obviously you're going to be beside yourself, and you will be clearly listening to some more MCR while collecting your Edward Cullens. But I think it looks cool, and I'm up for it. And
I think me and Nikos should have a Space Wolves versus Blood Angels game on stream when that drops.
Deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, that's okay. There you go. Done. We'll schedule that in whenever it gets released. Okay. So then, also other stuff that's come out is the Faith and Fury.
Faith and Fury.
Yep.
Yeah.
Faith and Fury is coming out, which we're going to talk about. And then that's all the news that I know of. Unless anyone knows any other news.
No, I don't know any other news.
Okay.
Sound good, guys.
Did you just give up after the weekend? you just turn your phone off, unsubscribe to all Warhammer things. I am done with this shit game for a day.
I told you need a detox every now and then. You know, you go away for a weekend of Warhammer. You just need to just turn it off and on again.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's talk about then, Nick. Let's talk about your weekend. Let's do that, shall we?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good about that.
Good. Let's do it. All right. I'm ready whenever you are to talk
Okay.
about your game. So tell us where you were this weekend and what you were doing.
Sure, this weekend I went to Amsterdam to play
Excuse me, as a Dutch person, I find this incredibly racist.
Did you have a smoke and a pancake?
Did have a smoke and a pancake.
Oh, you
Yes,
had a smoke and a pancake.
Smoke and a pancake. It was a 6 game Alliance Open Dutch TT.
He's not loud enough. He needs to be louder.
Okay. Yeah, so it was the Alliance
Lots of
Open 40k GT. Offended
More noise did you get
offended
presented to me, Dutch?
Moonty Raid as well.
Oh, is Mooty right here?
Yeah, he's here.
He's kind of Nordic looking, isn't he?
think
Sure.
He is. Have you not met him?
Probably.
He's
Yeah.
Tall, blonde, gorgeous.
I mean, you just said blonde and it's like accurate. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Amsterdam this weekend for Warhammer. It was the Alliance Open 40k GT. It was 140 players, 6 round, 2,000 points, ITC. Not much comp apart from that. And it was overall it was an awesome time over the weekend down at the tournament. Shout out to Amy, my girlfriend who came with me. It was awesome that she wanted to come with me, so that was awesome.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She came just for. She had the Friday and the Monday together around the city, and then she just went shopping and stuff like that on Saturday, Sunday.
She didn't come and watch you play 40k.
She did not. She was not interested in the Warhammer. She just wanted to go shopping. And
Is
things.
it ever since?
That's a bit of a disgrace,
because
really.
ever since the Space Marine releases, she's
Yeah.
been less interested?
Yeah, she was. She was like just before the Space Marine book. She was like, the game seems pretty balanced. The meta seems to be settling out. The points are bringing things in line. You're seeing a lot of variety at tournaments, but then the Space Marine book came out and ruined it all.
And she's like, oh.
Despite being a long-term Iron Hands player as well.
Yeah. I mean, she likes it as a niche thing, right? Like she doesn't want people
she doesn't
jumping
want
on the
people jumping
bandwagon.
into it. There also is some other news that I forgot to talk about because there's but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so why did you want to go to the So this is your first time you've ever gone abroad to play
yes,
Warhammer.
yeah.
Why?
So Dick van der Haast, or Dick van der Hoosen,
Great Dick.
he's come over for a couple of tournaments like the GTs and the Hellstorm ones, and he just said, "Are you aware of this tournament? You should come over for it." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Why not?"
He didn't invite me. What the fuck?
Well, I don't know.
Have you met you, Tom?
What a dick.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had nanos.
People don't even like you on the internet.
It's kind of fair. Good point. Carry on.
Yeah, so I just thought, yeah, fuck it, I'll give it a go, and then yes, went over. What was I going to say? So I took my Iron Hands, and the terrain for so they put out a bit of a press release about the terrain, just sort of detailing this thing. If you see this thing on a board, it is this. If you see this thing on a board, it's that. So before the event, I knew the terrain would be quite heavy. There'd be quite a lot of line of sight blocking stuff. So I slightly adapted my marine list that I took to Blood and Glory.
So you took a lot of sniper rifles.
I did not take lots of sniper rifles.
Okay.
I took lots of indirect fire stuff.
Oh, I was not expecting you to say that. I was so surprised.
Will I shock you by saying I had a Thunderfire cannon in my list?
You'd shock me. Okay, Tom, you'd shock me if you weren't going to have 3.
I did have 3.
You did have 3.
I did have 3.
Okay. Did every Marine player have 3? A Thunderfire cannon sold out everywhere.
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
I don't think every Marine character player had 3. I think you either had none or 3.
Do you think not every Thunderfire cannon in the world was at a tournament that weekend, yet every Thunderfire cannon that could be at a tournament was? That's my question. That's a brain twister.
I'm confused by the question. So I'm just going to say, yes, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, carry on.
Yes. So my list was my grav drop pods. So I had 2 drop pods, 3 units of 5 Devastators with all the grav cannons, Chapter Master, Lieutenant, and Chapter Banner. So anyone who dies within 9 inches can have the Relic 1 on a 4+, they shoot. So that was one section that just drops down. Then I also had 3 Whirlwinds with the 2d3 strength 7 shots, 3 Thunderfire cannons, a Mortis Dreadnought with 4 las cannons, a Chaplain with a +1 to hit prayer, and 2 Lieutenants to buff the Thunderfires and the Whirlwinds. And then I had 6 units of 5 Scouts, just for like
Because
battalions and jumping objectives, screening out stuff and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Scouts don't really scout much, do they?
They do.
They more just be there.
Well, they be there for further forward than everyone else can be there.
Touche. Okay.
Yeah. Can I just tell everyone a funny story from the Friday night?
Please do.
So the Friday night we met up with Dick and a couple of the Dutch guys, and a lot of the Hellstorm dudes were there as well. So we had a meal on Friday night. But Dick was setting up at the venue, and he was like an hour late. He was like an hour late for the
Matt's
for the
just
meal.
doing Patreon for $10. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
So Dick was like an hour late to the meal. And when he arrived, just before he arrived, we said, right, when he arrives, everyone stand up and give him a standing ovation in the middle of the restaurant.
Nice.
So he turns up, we all stand up giving him a standing ovation. And like 60% of the other people in the restaurant all joined in.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
Who is this for, sorry?
For Dick van der Hoosen.
For Dick van der Hoosen.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. There you go.
So he enters the restaurant to this enormous standing ovation. And most of the people cheering and clapping didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, I'm into that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
What a cutie.
So the venue was a hotel near the airport. It was a pretty swanky hotel.
Okay.
The venue was like a downstairs function room. We had loads of space between the tables, nice comfy chairs, extra space on the table. So we didn't just have a 6x4 battle board with like no room between and like just storage space under your table.
I would travel to another country just for that requirement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge.
So every table had at least 6 inches
I bet it
on
did.
either side, and at the ends of the table as well. So you had space for like other stuff, dead models and all that kind of stuff, so you could keep the tables clear. They had free tea and coffee.
That's good.
Just free
That's
tea and coffee. All
really
the time.
good.
They were handing out water bottles as well between rounds.
That's also
stuff
really
like
good.
That. They must have been listening to the podcast, making sure
Stay
everyone's
hydrated, yeah.
hydrated.
Stay hydrated all day,
Yeah.
especially anyone in Australia or anywhere else that's warm.
Yeah. And the terrain and mat. So they all had battle mats. All the terrain was really good, really nicely painted. There was lots of line of sight blocking stuff on all the tables. Lots of ruins and mixture of walls and things like that as well. The only terrain that wasn't great was the wall. I mean, the walls were very functional, but they were just a little bit like, just a base with a big, like a square of cardboard or whatever it was stuck up. I mean, they were painted nice, but obviously you can understand if you're making enough terrain for a massive tournament like that, you're going to have some cheaper, easier to store ones.
Yeah.
But that would be my only criticism, and I'm reaching there in terms of the terrain.
You're looking for a problem
really,
at this stage.
Yeah. It was really, really good.
How are the hand dryers?
The hand dryers were pretty good. Yeah, they also had the additional option of paper towels as well.
Wow, that is the premium product of a wargaming event, paper towels, with the lowest end being wiping it on your jeans. That's the lowest end.
Yeah.
I think that's ETC level, Tom, is that correct?
No, don't wipe it on your jeans because your jeans are just going to be covered in shit most of the time. Just let it dry. Just let it dry. Mate, you didn't experience Athens. Have I told you the story of the Athens 2016 toilets? If not, I need to tell you, dude.
Is it like unsanitary for people to hear?
Mate, right? Okay, we got a sidebar here because this was insane. So on my first ETC was the 2016 Athens ETC, and there are a lot of issues like setting up and all that, but we can go into those later. The main issue we're going to talk about very quickly were the toilets in Athens. So the toilets in Athens didn't actually flush. So what you had was, in each cubicle, you had a bin bag that was taped to the back of the door. And so when you'd finished wiping yourself, you'd take your toilet paper and you'd stick the shitty toilet paper in this bin bag.
That's enough.
On the back of the door. So you just have you'd stick your hand in to stick the toilet paper in it, and you just get other people's shit on the edge of the bin bags.
And this is why we're Brexiting, right?
Yeah.
This is why.
This is why. All those Greeks coming over here, sticking up plastic bags on our toilet doors.
Oh, mate, Diffie knows. Like, mate, it was fucking grim. Like, I didn't take a shit in the venue the entire week, and I turned up on the Tuesday as well to help set up. And so we sat up on like the Tuesday, and it was like Neil Kerr and Tom Adriani, and Neil was like begging for help on the feeds, and everyone had just gone out partying. And I turned up, and the Greeks were meant to come down and help, and they didn't turn up, which was like, okay, that's kind of annoying. But they had promised us a forklift, which also didn't turn up. So it was me, Neil Kerr, and Tom Adriani just setting up this entire fucking Olympic stadium with boards in the sweat, and like Neil had to go get water for people, and there was nowhere to actually fucking. It was grim. Like, it was so bad.
Oh.
Well, the toilets in Amsterdam are great. I delighted in going to take a poo.
No. What are we talking about?
look forward to
I don't know. Let's talk about Warhammer.
You're shitting.
Right. Okay. All right.
The tournament organising was really.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I need to say that. So Team Australia put all the boards out.
What, in
I
Athens?
came in Athens. So Team Australia did rock up and put all the boards out. So top lads. I ended up coming down with Neil and setting up the terrain on all the boards.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry, credit to Team Australia.
Is that you telling us that ETC is shit or Athens is shit or both?
I'm telling you that Athens is shit.
Okay.
Like, I walked
Let's
past
not
some
go
dodgy
there to the
fucking
Warhammer.
vans on the way to the ETC each day.
Listen, the amount of time we spend sometimes talking about the toilet facilities at events is arguably longer than we talk about the event. But
Mate, I need to tell you about the low bar of toilet facilities, man. Like, otherwise,
this
I
is
can't
why we review on the
contextualise
show.
it. Like,
It's super
yeah.
important that you got to categorize board space.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got your physiological needs at the bottom.
Yeah, bums and
toileting
boards.
is one of them.
Bums and boards. That's how you review an event. Bums and boards. Yeah. Was there space around a board? Yeah. For your butt? Yeah. Was your butt well cared for at the toilets?
Were the
Yeah.
chairs collapsing inwards?
Right. Bums and boards. Dunade says Greece has a civilization for 3,000 years, but it's still a work in progress. Okay. I mean, for a while it didn't, though, did it? Right. Okay. So, anything else? Food. How's food?
The food was really good. It provided by the hotel. We just had a buffet upstairs. Big range, hot food, cold food, loads of it. It was really nice.
So
Fantastic.
as a tournament experience, like before we get into your games, how would you rate it?
It was a top tournament experience.
Could you think of anything that there could be a way to improve, or not at all? Really?
No, there's no big improvements that I thought of when I came away thinking, oh, that was rubbish. I think the only thing I would, I don't know whether it's because Bobo spoiled me. You know, when you go to Bobo, it's a tournament, but they also they also make you have a laugh and put on a bit of entertainment.
Yes.
No other tournament I've been to has done that, so I don't think it's necessarily fair to criticise tournaments for not doing that.
I think it is.
But I don't know.
Well, there's anyway, we're spending too long on the review. I think we should do a whole separate podcast once, us three, where we just talk about we just talk about reviewing tournaments. Yeah, that should be but we'll do that later. Anyway,
just a couple of notes on their organisation, because obviously it's 140. I think they had a maximum of 150 people. So the way they organised it was pretty well. They have their own website, not using BCP, which was pretty good.
Have they tried using Down Under Pairing Network?
They have not.
Okay, network pairing.
Have they tried using Tournament?
You had to submit your list about, I think it was 2 weeks before. You had to submit it in a very specific format.
Right.
But they also
Dutch?
No, it was like they give you an example, like you had to put it's complicated to explain.
It is important though, because one of the players got docked like 250 soft scores because he didn't list a free piece of Wargo on his list.
We don't need to explain it to people listening to podcasts exactly what it was. People going should have read the pack and done their list.
True.
But they were super specific, right?
They were very specific, but it was pretty simple. If you just read the pack and looked at the example, it's pretty easy to do.
All right, 2 questions right in the chat. How much do you pay compared to UK event?
It was about the same.
About the same, and then
obviously, because if you're traveling from the UK, there's just travel costs. But
yeah, of course,
the actual tournament ticket was about the same.
And do they mostly claim to be a competitive event?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Because there was no narrative stuff in the pack or from those guys. The way they picked the deployment. And it was set for each mission, and they picked they picked the best deployment for that mission. So they always made sure that so where the objectives were placed, obviously some are picked by players, but some are set on the mission. They picked the deployment map that split them most evenly between the players, it was just
and it was ITC.
ITC, yeah,
sweet.
But also what they did with the list is once everyone submitted them, they paired everyone up. So I checked someone else's list and someone else checked my list. So it saved them a massive job.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes. So overall, fantastic event. Really good. Well organised.
Okay, well, that's some excellent news. I'm pretty. I like that. So you had some games, right? You took your Iron Hands. We've heard about that list already.
Yes.
What did? Let's go find out, shall we?
What did I play?
What did you play and who did you play?
Okay, so first game, I played Alex Donald from Hellstone Wargaming.
Alex Donald.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. Which one? What does he look like?
He's quite tall, brown hair, glasses.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah.
So he
Very
had,
Yorkshire.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had Custodies.
Okay.
So he had 6 bikes to Telemon, Shield Captain, the special character Valoris, -1 to hit banner, 3 units of Custodies Guard, and another Dreadnought. He went first and he moved up a little bit. I hid all my stuff, like my whirlwinds and stuff, out of line of sight. My Thunderfires.
You can see on the picture.
Yeah, you can see that at the back. So I basically hid everything. He was going first.
Coward.
Well, that's just how my army plays, man. I'm just going to stick my whirlwind out in the open to not be called a coward. Okay. So he didn't have many options in his first turn. He kind of shoved his bikes up the right flank. But then my first turn was pretty devastating. I dropped the Devastators down straight away. Nuked his bikers using the Grav stratagem and the Mercy is Weak stratagem. And I was really, really lucky to kill his Telemon turn 1 because I got one lance cannon through his invulnerable save, rolled a 6 damage. I got 2 grav guns through his invulnerable save, rolled both 3 damages, and then I think I got another hit with a whirlwind to finish it off.
Oh, so you
So
really
my
just got...
damage rolls were like maxing out.
Oh, that's huge as well.
Yeah. And then he responded by deep striking his dreadnought in, failed its charge. He got his shield capped him into my devastators, but they'd done their job by now. So whatever else they did after that was just a bonus. And then because I had such a first turn, it was a bit of a downhill thing from then because he was running out of stuff to respond with. So I got I can't remember exactly what the score was, but I got a decent win there. We talked about it after the game. I didn't necessarily learn too much about my list, apart from deploying it. This was the first game I actually played with this exact list, but I'd played a similar list before. But we feel like if he chose different units to deep strike, it would have been a way better game for him because he left his bikes and his Telemon on the board and deep struck his other dreadnought, his Contemptor dreadnought. If he'd have deep struck the Telemon and the big unit's bikes, that would have been way better because he could have kept him off the board, gambled on getting a 9-inch charge rather than just trying to fly across the board at me and give me more chances to shoot him.
And are you happy going into that Custodians matchup?
Yes, I think so. I've not played Custodians with my list before, so I was a little bit worried maybe because you got lots of 4+ invulnerable saves and 3+ invulnerable saves. I've not got any mortal wound output at all in the army, but I've got enough shots going at him with the grav guns that hopefully, and he's got 2+ save, so my grav guns are getting the D3 damage.
Yeah.
I should have enough weight of dice to get through the invulnerable saves, but if he rolls well with invulnerable saves, it could be a different game. And if I don't get so lucky with the Telemon, it could be a different game.
I sometimes look at that in my army list and I just think, I'm just going to roll 3 ups and then I'll win the game. Like, sometimes that's the tactic. It's not a good tactic.
No. But it sometimes does happen.
Yeah.
So I came away with a 28-16 win there.
Okay.
So,
Can I ask a quick question?
You may.
Have any of these Hellstorm Wargaming guys ever beaten an Honest Wargamer guy?
Oh, wow.
Mikey's beat me at a tournament.
Or while you've been on the show? Has he? When did he do that? Really?
At their one-day event.
All right. So is it his event?
Yes.
Yeah,
They've never beat me.
And I
That
let him win, really.
Yeah, because it's his event.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's...
Yeah, he rigged it, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they would actually beat us out in the open field of
And even if
battle.
we do count that, that's like 17-1 or something, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
No problems,
I think I've only played those 2. Yeah, I've not played all that. So my second game was against a mixed Eldar player.
Oh, good. Preferred enemy
worst.
Nikos.
Let me just get his name. So I played against Jim Bessie.
Jim Bessel?
Jim Bessie.
Jim Bessie.
Jim Bessie.
There you go. I've got the picture on the screen there. You can see.
So I travelled all the way to Amsterdam and played 2 English people in a row.
But is he Necrons?
No, he's mixed Eldar.
Mixed Eldar.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you did say that, but I just saw green. And I was like,
green, yeah.
Okay.
So we had
I can see the Talos now.
Yeah. So
Dicks.
we had 3 units of Talos, 2, 2, and a 1.
Dicks. Yep.
There are lots of dicks at this
3
event.
Ravagers, and then he had 6 Harlequin Haywire bikes.
Excellent.
2 units of 2, and then some Venoms. And
Do you know who you should nerf? You should nerf the Flamestorm gauntlets or the mortal wound output that you can do from Flamestorms.
Yeah, it's a bit obsessive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit over the top.
Excessive.
But then you should absolutely let Haywire weapons be on Harlequin bikes, and that's fine.
Yep. I agree.
Requires
I agree.
no CP
Yeah.
to do mortal wounds, but sure.
So
Tom,
we
Thomas.
had. It was corner to corner deployment.
Oh, yeah?
I just hid everything in the corner behind a big thing.
Wee.
Nick, you got a star, man.
He's such a bussy.
What is this? What's this tactic?
It's
Go to England and hide.
hide
No,
in the,
to
hide in
Belgium
the
and
corner
hide.
and shoot things.
Okay.
That's my tactic.
How do you enjoy playing this game?
By shooting my opponents and dropping down grav in their face.
He sounds like a Tau player. I don't like this.
Yeah, I move. The scouts move.
Yeah, the scouts
The
move.
dreadnought
No,
moves.
that's fine, man.
They're
Yeah.
scouting.
Dreadnought moves, and then when my drop pods come down, after that, if there's anything left of the Devastators, they'll move. The drop pods are the most town thing in my army. They don't move at all. So it's corner to corner deployment. I went in one little corner, and he was going to go first, I think.
Oh no!
He kind of hid in the corner out of the way, which was really good for me because he was really far away from me and had to run across the table towards me. He kind of tried to zone out. So the first couple of turns, he tried to zone out my drop pods with his with his 2 units of 2 Harlequin bikes and his Venoms. But all I did was not drop the drop pods in and just shoot them with all my Whirlwinds and Thunderfire Cannons, which deleted his screen. Then he replaced it, deleted that, and then when there was nothing left, I dropped the drop pods in and shot the hell out of the Talos.
You mean Nikos deep struck turn 3?
Yeah,
what
man.
the hell? That's
No,
such a
no, we
non-Nikos
never see
tactic.
this.
No, I've done it a few times now with my grav pods. You got to wait for the right time. You can't just drop them in.
Would that be
Yeah,
willy
so
nilly?
and it was always turn 3.
You can't just be dropping them in willy-nilly. I went into game 1.
Hey, doesn't this list work exactly like your Bloodletter Bomb list, where you've got some shooters and then you drop some shit in turn 3?
Yeah. But it's shooting, not combat.
Oh, okay.
Which
This
is
list
better in
is just
40K.
like painted in a certain way, so it's super varied, and he can run it as whatever he wants, and then runs it in exactly the same way at every single event.
Hey,
If
listen.
it works, don't fix it.
Yeah, he's got
It
way
ain't
more time
broke.
to play than we have because he's smarter than we are. So,
Oh, no.
So I waited till turn 3, dropped him in, killed a lot of stuff. So after the game, we spoke about it. He should have just deployed everything on the line and just ran at me, just giving me as many targets as possible. He did move around with his. He wrapped up a unit of scouts and kept wrapping him up, so I couldn't shoot the bikes. But at some point, he had to throw him in to try and kill stuff. But then I just shot them with lots of scouts and whirlwinds and thunderfires. So yeah, he should have just deployed everything on the line and ran at me with his Talos.
And he did
we
not.
decided He did not. He hid in the corner.
He's another coward.
And that was a win. And that was a win for Nikos.
Well done.
29-17.
So going into 2,
Going into round 3.
you've won 2. Going to round 3,
Yes.
you're playing on a desert board.
Playing a desert board against the eventual winner of the tournament.
Wow.
So spoilers, I lost this game.
Wow. Okay. Who was that?
So his name was Michael or Mikkel
Christiansen.
Christiansen.
Oh,
Yeah, good
okay.
player.
So he's from
Is he Nordic by any
Sweden.
chance?
From Sweden.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's a good player.
Mikkel Svedesen is from.
He's from Sweden.
No way.
Yeah.
I'll be there this weekend. Tomorrow, in fact.
Oh, well, say hi.
There you go.
If I see him, I'll say hi.
Say hi. Yeah.
I'm looking for what's his name, Mikkel.
Mikkel's.
Either just ask for the Christiansens
Christiansen.
and you'll know.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
true.
like, can I look for Mikkel? Someone find me Mikkel Christensen, and they were like,
Christensen.
there's a pub of them just down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 2 of them. They played each other round 6 or something, I think.
Yeah, I think they're brothers. Oh,
Yeah, they are, yeah.
brothers,
That makes no sense. Call both your children the same name.
No, the last
No,
name.
that's
not
a
the
surname,
first
you fucking. I tell
I thought they also called him Mikhail. Like they were both called Mikhail. I was like, what? So random.
Fuck's sake.
I might do that if I have kids now, though. First and last name the same. Save me time.
Nikos and Nikos. Here's my
Yeah.
third son,
Yeah.
Nikos.
So sorry, what army was he playing?
So he had a mixed Imperium list. It was a really interesting list. They had a Crusader and 2 Helverins.
Right.
Then he had a Loyal 32, but then he had 2 tank commanders. One had loads of plasma, one had like a relic battle cannon, and there were Talon. So the clever thing about his list with those was that there's a Talon order where you can move before or after you've shot.
Right.
So he was using that by popping them out of line of sight cover, shooting, and then hiding. Popping them out, shooting, and then hiding. Popping them out, shooting, hiding. Just doing that every turn. It was pretty clever. And then he also had a Raven Guard Successor Chapter battalion. So he had 3 units of Eliminators, 3 units of Scouts, a Thunderfire Cannon, and then he also had a Chaplain with a jump pack, and then a Captain with a Power Fist and jump pack. So he explained to me that the So basically, he led me to the water, but I didn't drink it. Well, I kind of did. I had a little lick.
You had a
So
little like
He
preemptive
said, I
taste.
can redeploy my chaplain outside of 9 with 1 infantry unit. So I was like, okay, because he deployed first and he was going to go first. So I was like, okay, I'll deploy. So I was like, okay, deploy my whirlwinds at the back. Thunderfire cannons, I want them hiding behind this terrain. And once I put my Thunderfire cannons down, I was putting my scouts down. I was like, oh no, he's going to redeploy his chaplain and a unit 9 inches away. I need to make sure that I've wrapped up my Thunderfire cannons so he can't get them in combat. So I put double layers of scouts around the Thunderfires and stuff like that. And then he went first. He used a stratagem to run his chaplain so he could go 12 inches plus a d6 and then still charge. And his captain, he redeployed his captain as well. So these 2 smash heroes running at me.
Yeah.
But what I didn't calculate in my head, stupidly, was that he can shoot first. So he shot away a load of the scouts, not all of them, but a lot of the scouts to create some holes for his characters to jump in. And so basically he got both characters in. He had to fight twice with his power fist captain to kill 2 Thunderfire cannons, but then he tagged the 3rd Thunderfire cannon. So start of my turn, I was down most of my scouts, 2 Thunderfire cannons, and 1 Thunderfire wasn't shooting, which was real bad news for me because he had quite a good board control list with lots of infantry and scouts to stop my drop pods coming in where I wanted to go. Because usually my Thunderfires and Whirlwinds are doing the work to clear that kind of stuff. So I made the huge. I don't think I made many mistakes in this game. I think I played the game quite well, but I made a massive error in deployment in not really thinking through what his first turn was going to be. And if I deployed differently, I think I would have had a better chance of that game. I still managed to score quite well in that game. It was something like 29 or something like that. It's 19. So I still scored a decent amount in that game. But had I had my Thunderfire cannons for the game, I think I still could have done quite well against his list. Because basically, I had to spend my first turn killing those 2 characters. I managed to get them quite cheaply with lots of crack grenades and bolter shots, so I didn't have to waste the whirlwinds on shooting them. Eventually, I did get a space for my grav, because I waited as long as I could for my grav to come in, but they had to come in at some point. And I could own... And what I had to do in this, I had to split my drop pods in this game, so I couldn't get them all within the banner bubble, which was real bad news. So I could only get 1 unit within range of the knights. Wasn't able to kill it. I got a pretty whiff roll with the wounds and that one. But then
On the damage roll or 2 wounds?
The wound roll. Because
Right.
the strat I'm using is the reroll wounds and damage, and then any wound roll of a 6 is an extra wound. It becomes 2.
Yeah.
That usually generates a lot of attacks, a lot of wounds and saves my opponent. But in this one, it whiffed pretty badly. So it was a bad time to whiff in a game that I was up against it.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I got some more kills late game, and it wasn't totally battering me. It was a really cool and exciting game, really a bit back and forth. But what I would have done differently had I was to play the game again, I would just put the 3 Thunderfire cannons in the corner, but then box them in with the whirlwinds, and then double layer with the scouts around that. So I should have just gone super negative, like full
denial.
corner,
Yeah.
castle up in the corner. Thunderfires are the most important in this matchup. Hide them. So I think had I done that, I'd had a better chance in this game.
Well, it's no bad news losing to the actual winner.
No, he's a good player and had a really good list, really interesting list. So and it was a pretty sweet game. So.
And I like that he baited you in with the, I can do this, and you're like,
Yeah, he all but told me what he's going to do, but I was just like, oh. And it's the first time I've played against Raven Guard with that strategy.
Yeah.
So had I maybe played against it before, because I think there is a difference in Warhammer in theorizing what a thing can do and writing a list, thinking about it, but then actually playing it.
Big deal.
For some reason, it makes it more. You can understand it a bit better. You play things through, definitely. But so now I've had that done against me. I'll never make a similar mistake again.
I'll never make this mistake again.
Never again.
Never again. Okay. Can you explain to Nikos and me how to deploy again? 40k lost in deployment phase again. We need to a redeployment chat, says Dude Our Day.
Okay, yeah. Should we do a deployment show?
It's a deployment
at some
show.
point?
Saturday night you have a good time in the beautiful land.
Yes. We went out to the food hall, I think, on the Saturday night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice feed.
Okay.
So game 4, I rocked up and I was playing. I think I know his name, but I'll just double check before I make it. So I played Jonathan. I think it's Jonathan anyway. It's spelled the same as Jonathan. Jonathan Holm.
Oh.
So I think he's another guy, another fella from Sweden. And he had knights.
Oh, knights. 3
So he had
purple knights.
3.
4.
So he had three crusaders and a warden. So 4 Avenger Gatling cannons in total.
Oh,
And
shit.
3 thermal cannons. And then he had an Admech brigade, just bare minimum.
The Rusty 32.
The rust, yeah.
Oh, Full Greenber, thanks for subscribing for 22 months, by the way.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
See you next weekend.
And he does. He says he can't wait.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So he went first, but I guess what I did, guys? I hid everything in corners.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I split my army. I didn't want to put everything in one corner, so all 4 knights could just run at that corner and me be really under pressure. So I put 2 whirlwinds and a thunderfire cannon in one corner, and then 2 thunderfires and 1 whirlwind in another corner.
Right.
With a lieutenant each, and then the mortis dreadnought sort of hanging about on the right hand side with a chaplain. So he didn't have in this first turn. He was only really able to kill like a couple of scout squads because I'd hit everything. And I used the scout squads as like a mobile wall because knights can't go over infantry; they can only retreat over infantry. I just basically ran the scouts as close as possible, being 3.1 inches away, so he can't heroically intervene into the scouts at the end of my charge phase. But meaning in his turn, he's limited in how far he can push his knights towards my whirlwinds and thunderfires, just to keep them at arm's length, so they're not charging me and stuff. And then my grav pods came in, and the super combo went absolutely fucking mental in this game. So it's the grav amplification and the Mercy's weakness stratagem targeting 1. I baited out iron shields on him, which was quite good. So I shot 1 grav squad at 1 knight, he rotated, and then I just switched to the other one. But then the super combo on the gravs went fucking mental and did 37 damage to 1 knight.
Wow.
From one squad of 5 marines did 37 damage to a knight.
That's amazing.
It was just crazy.
37?
37.
That's great.
So I got loads of hits with the squad. I rolled loads of wounds. I re-rolled some, got some more, and I got something like I don't know, something like 8 6s. So that became 16 wounds plus another 5. So he had like loads of saves. Failed. In this game, his saves were
Atrocious.
pretty bad. Like I was pretty lucky with his rolls. Like all of his 4+ saves, he failed quite a lot. And then once they got through the saves, I did a bucket load of damage. But what was key, because he had
Was it a
Tyrannus
fully
knights.
alive knight, just alive to dead?
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic.
alive, yeah.
Must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think so he had Tyrannus knights, so he's got the get up again stratagem. I think I killed 1. I might not have brought my gravs in straight away. I think I killed 1 knight with my last cannon dread and all my whirlwinds and thunderfire cannons, and then he got it back up again. So then when my gravs came in, he had 1 knight really low, and then 1 knight, or 3 fresh knights. So I killed the knight that was low and a fresh knight as well. So I was able to kill 2 knights in one round, so he could only bring 1 back up again. But then he failed that as well.
Oh, wow.
So he went from 4 to 2 knights in a round. And then the next round, I think I killed another knight. But basically what it came down to is he had 1 knight left, I had my thunderfires and whirlwinds left. And it came down to really... So we were using the chess clock, but then in our last round, we both had like 20 minutes left for our last round. So we were taking it real slow in the last round because it was really, really close. Like it was on a real knife edge. It was a really exciting game from that point of view. And he charged in on my whirlwind, killed that and piled in onto my objective with his last knight with a few wounds left. But then in my last turn, I shot all I had left on it. He had 2 wounds left on his knight. And I had a choice of shooting twice with the whirlwind or the thunderfire cannon. And because I had 20 minutes, I did the math hammer on my phone. using the Math Hammer app, which is really good. You should download it.
Yep.
And then the Thunderfire Cannon was slightly better than the Whirlwind against the Knight. So I did the Thunderfire Cannon, and I did just enough wounds to kill the Knight.
Oh, that's cool.
And that meant that it was a 30-all draw.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
On the win, yeah. So it was like literally the last shot of the game, the last dice of the game made it a draw. So that was pretty cool.
That's great.
That sounds like a pretty like perfect game, or like
Yeah.
no one goes with like a sour feeling. A draw sounds
Yeah.
like it was about right,
Yeah. Well, I think both of us obviously gutted not to win, but both of us were also equally happy with a draw, not losing, and like a high scoring draw as well, 30-all.
30 is normally enough to win a game as well. Like,
Yeah.
So there seems to be a theme for this tournament, Nick. Your next game, Game 5.
Yeah.
Am I looking at another night, and then I'm looking at you hiding in two corners?
Yep.
in two corners. Wow, he's evolved.
Yep. Bit of foreshadowing last game for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my next game was against a super cool dude called Jimmy Spore. So he was a local dude from Amsterdam. So he had a guard brigade with like a basilisk, what's the mortar tank? I can't remember what it's called.
The wyverns.
Wyvern. He had a basilisk and a wyvern, a couple of sentinels, and then he had a big unit of 8 Bulgrins. And then
Classic.
he had a Castellan. So he.
Are Bulgrin's still a thing?
I think one unit's still pretty good because you can stack because you got those buffs. You just stack it on that one unit.
I guess so.
Pretty hard to shift. And
they're
they're
so
infantry,
stubborn.
so they can go through walls and things like that.
I saw someone put like model hair, like so not like plastic model, as in model for a doll.
Okay.
Hair
Actual
on
hair.
Bulgrins on the internet today, and it looks terrifying. Yeah, like
Like, was it just like
Well, like the
long
trolls?
hair down or like?
no, like spiky little hair up, like they had a little Mohican, and it looked awesome, but also like really, really scary. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. So that was his list. And again, I split my force because there was 2 little ruins that my whirlwinds and stuff could hide in. Basically, exactly the same deployment as before. Some in each corner. So in this game, I was just trying to kill a couple of guard squads a turn because I picked like Reaper and Butcher's Bill, I think. So I was like, right, I'm going to kill 2 units a turn and not kill all of his guard in a turn, so I have some kills to last me over the course of the game.
Easy peasy.
And then I want to clear enough chaff away so I can drop my drop pods down and get his knight. But he saw that coming and he screened out really well and was able to deny me getting the drop on his knight. So I wasn't able to shoot his knight with my grav, which made me sad. But there was a couple of interesting moments in the game where he charged a scout squad with his Ogrins, but then used the charge move and then the pile and consolidate to tag a whirlwind in my deployment zone.
That's the last thing you
Stop
want.
shooting.
Just a big lad with a stick just stood next to
Just
you.
stood next to you, yeah.
You shoot a tank.
Yeah. But my tank used that bad situation to my advantage
Yeah.
because Bulgrins can't retreat and charge. So I just left my whirlwind because he was stacking the buffs like -1 to hit and then +1 to save on them.
Yeah.
I was waiting for my time to strike on the Bulgrins. So once he charged in and tagged my whirlwind, I just left him alone. I left him in combat with the whirlwind because only one could really hit him. They're not going to kill it with one dude.
No.
And then in the turn where he tried to put the buffs on the Bulgrins again, then I used the Iron Hand stratagem to deny the psychic power of +1 save. So I failed it in the first roll, had to use a reroll, but re-rolled it, so denied that. And then that was where I could go in. So I used the drop pods came in because I couldn't get the knights. I used them to kill the Bulgrins. But they weren't as effective against the Bulgrins because the Bulgrins don't have a 3+ save, so all the damage is just damage 1.
Yeah.
So it took basically all 3 squads to kill them. But it would have been, I don't think I necessarily would have killed them had he got the +1 to save on them.
Did he use the CP go to ground?
Yes,
that
I
+1
think
save?
he did. Yes.
Right. So he didn't have all of it, right?
No, just some of it. Again, this came down. So this game was really, really tight again. it came down to the last turn, where we worked out that if I killed 2 units, I win the game by a point. And I think I maybe had a couple of CP spare to shoot twice with something. So it wasn't the last shot of the game that I killed a Sentinel, but I did manage to kill a Sentinel to win the game. But it was a really close game. He was a really cool dude. So yeah, but I never got the Castan, which made me sad.
That is sad.
Never.
That is sad. They're such a high ticket item, but you can get blood loss for units, bloodlust.
Yeah.
For units like that, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, I want it dead. I want it dead.
I want it dead, Sarge.
Okay, and then your final game. Who were you up against?
Final round was against Pim Rosk or R-O-E.
Yeah, I know Pim. I know Pim. Yeah.
Pim Rosk. So he had.
Also, Dick van der Hoosen's in the chat. What? Big love, Van der Hoosen.
Big love. Who was the best Necron player of that tournament? By the
Was
way?
he?
Despite not being announced in the results, they announced
Oh,
the wrong
no.
player
Oh.
because they fucked up their stats.
Unlucky.
So I played against Pim in my last round. He had Gene Stealer Cults. Pretty classic Gene Stealer Cults army. Loads of infantry, loads of acolytes, loads of aberrants, lots of bodies. I hadn't played against Gene Stealer Cults with this list. I knew it'd be quite good against it because I've got lots of indirect fire, but screening it out was going to be quite difficult for along for the game, because there's only so many units you can bleed before he gets to my juicy innards.
True.
So I made some mistakes in this game. I let him, because I haven't really had much experience against Gene Stealer Cults. I hadn't really considered what.
Was it a Muscle Beach style list?
Yes, I think so. But I hadn't really considered exactly what they can do in terms of when they get out. So I let him wrap a unit of scouts turn 1 with a unit of aberrants. So what he did was he used a stratagem to redeploy a blip as far forward as possible, deploy them around the blip, run them, cast its psychic power to make them run and charge, charged 1 scout unit, but then wrapped around another scout unit. So that was my mistake for deploying the scouts too far forward. I didn't need to have them in that position to screen out as much of the board as I was trying to straight away. I could have just been right in the corner where I was, happy, really far away from his stuff. You can't deep strike anything turn 1. So that's what I should have done turn 1, just like be right in the corner. But and then later on he deployed another unit of aberrants and did sort of a similar thing. He was doing a lot of soft charges where you charge a unit but you only get 1 model to attack, and then everything else wraps around the unit, so you're not able to get shot.
Yeah.
So he was.
It's a clever way of of consolidating into the combats later on, right?
Yeah. So I was, but my Thunderfires and Whirlwinds were doing loads of good work and killing loads of his stuff, just from far away. Yes, but I wasn't able to shake off the aberrants that were just wrapping up my stuff and fighting all the time, because he was slowly working his way towards my Thunderfires, where my Whirlwinds were getting through the Scouts. The Scouts did the bravest job they could, holding him up as long as they could, but it wasn't quite good enough from them. And eventually, I ended up losing this game. However, I did only play 3 turns.
Oh.
He played 4 turns, and he had ground control. So he scored 3 or 4 points on the last turn from ground control.
Where did the time go?
Him. He was playing an army with lots of models, quite a complicated army, and he was. I was quite quick in my turns, I think.
Well, especially if you couldn't shoot much.
Most of the time was spent on his movement, his combat, and fighting in combat a lot of the times. So after the game, I really regretted not, because I don't generally use a chess clock. I've only ever used a chess clock if someone has suggested or wanted to. I've never brought a chess clock and wanted to use it. But after this game, that if in hindsight, I would have 100% should have used a chess clock, because he had 75% of the gaming time in that mission, and we only played half a game.
Fair enough.
And we had a bit of a discussion at the end. It wasn't like a nasty discussion. It was.
Did you punch a kid?
No, I just punched. I punched a chair.
All right.
No, I didn't.
Alright.
But like we had a bit of a discussion afterwards because I was a bit like, it feels a bit rough you winning on ground control.
Yeah.
Because yes, I know that it's the last round played, but only playing half a game felt a bit bad.
Yeah, that will feel bad.
Yeah, and he made the point that in this position, you've only got because I didn't have I only had a couple of Devastator squads left and a Thunderfire cannon that was in combat left at that point. So yes, the game was probably swinging in his favour, but you still feel like you can scrap away with what you have to get as many.
And you'd
points
rather
as
lose
possible.
like legitimately rather than like halfway through the
Yes,
game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I regret not having a chess clock. And the only other thing I would comment on that game is that did annoy me a little bit. And I think if you're going to play a combat army, you need to be really specific and tight with your movement and movement of your combat.
Right.
Because although he was doing his charges correctly, his piling in and consolidating was really not correct. Because and I called him up on it as many times as I could be bothered. Because there's only so many times you can say, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way.
Yep.
Because basically he was piling in and consolidating further away from models.
Right.
So whenever you pile in a model or consolidate the model, it has to finish its move closer to the closest enemy model. Whereas he was he was at one point, and this was after me reminding him about how the rules work several times, he piled in a model which was like pretty much base contact around and then further away from that model to tag my whirlwind. And I was like, yes, but you're piling in further away from that model. So I understand he's in the like competitive scene in the Netherlands in that tournament scene, but I wasn't impressed with how sloppy his movement was in the combat phase.
So something he's going to have to learn, right?
Yeah, I mean he was a nice guy and we had a great game, but I think if you're going to play at that competitive level and play a combat army, you should get the combat rules right. Because he and it is big, particularly if you're playing a combat army versus a shooting army, because those few inches matter between me not shooting something and then shooting something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So, so where did you end up in the tournament?
I came 40th in the end.
Oh, that's not bad. So
yeah,
top third.
Decent. Yeah, top third. Pleased with that.
It's good. Yeah, are you happy with it?
Yeah, really pleased with that. Yeah, really pleased.
Would you go back again?
I'm planning to, yeah. So hopefully it's going to run next year, so hopefully go back again next year.
What? So, and the major selling points were it was just a top tier tournament.
Really well ran tournament, excellent terrain, great city to go have a little mini holiday in.
Oh, nice.
So,
And there was also a live stream, I think.
yeah, they did live stream it.
Is that their Twitch? Is it Alliance Open Twitch?
Yeah, I think it's just Alliance Open. If you just search for Alliance Open
Okay,
on Twitch.
so you might be able to go watch some games there if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And you can see an interview with me.
Oh, you got interviewed?
Yeah, I got interviewed at the end.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you say? I'll watch it. I'll go watch it. I'll go find it and watch it. Worth seeing. Okay, cool. Well, it sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm quite jelly. Maybe we all go next year.
Yeah,
Tom?
let's all go.
You've
gone, I've bored him.
You've
I've bored
muted
him
your
today.
microphone, Tom. Your
Oh,
microphone's-
sorry. There we go. All sorted. Yeah, someone just sent me some stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, need to
Do you
check
wanna know
out.
Do you want to know why I was interviewed?
Yeah, why were you interviewed?
So I was interviewed because I won favourite player or most sporting player or whatever.
Did
it
you?
was. Yeah.
That's the best award.
It is the best.
I did not know that. That's awesome. So you got favourite
Yeah.
player?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to be super chuffed
Despite
with
playing
that.
Iron Hands.
I mean, that's
Despite
if
playing
anything,
Iron
that's
Hands.
like that's a rock around your neck the whole time.
That's like sprinting with weight of shoes on.
Yeah, that's amazing. Iron Hand's favourite player. That's awesome.
I was really surprised and dead chuffed to get that. It was really cool.
That's arguably the hardest because what's interesting is you were trying to win every game, but you got favourite player. That's actually quite a hard.
Yeah.
While trying to win, amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if it was favourite player or most sporting. Either way, one of those. But yeah, I was dead chuffed to win that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd be dead chuffed to win that. I personally, I think if I can go to a tournament, I'm going to try and win every game. But if I can have six games that my opponent enjoys as well, and I enjoy, like I'm walking away from that weekend a winner, no matter the result of the table. So yeah, Like, excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you
And
very
what
much.
a good rep for the show.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Honest and good and fun. Now, Tom.
I mean, I could. Do you want me to dig out my sporting awards? Like, we all get them.
I
Because
don't.
we're all lovely fellas.
We do. That's true. That's true. The whole
Yeah.
show. Okay. All right. Well, any more to say, Nick?
If you go to Amsterdam, go to the Rijksmuseum because it's fucking cool.
Okay. The Rijks.
I think it's called the Rijksmuseum. So
I definitely won't remember that while I'm in
there
Amsterdam.
was a bit in the basement which has got loads of cool like miniature ships. Look at that shit.
Oh, look at that square photo of that ship.
If you can see that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
waiting for the
lovely.
photo to pop up on my
I can see
screen.
it. Yeah, it looks great. Little miniature ships.
Yeah, loads of little miniature old Warhammer.
Oh, yeah. Back
there
in,
you
the,
go.
in the olden days.
Old Warhammer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next part of the show, Tom is going to take us through his hot picks from Faith and Fury 2, the Black Templar Boogaloo.
So we, when we did the Inquisitor rundown last week from the book,
Yeah.
I think just going through everything that was in the book was kind of boring because the book itself was fucking boring.
Okay.
And
And sometimes the issue is you don't know if a book's boring until we've read it out, right?
Yeah. So what I'd like to try is instead doing, because obviously a lot of the stuff we read out from those books is just like, well, you're not going to ever see that. You're not going to ever see that. So what I've done is I've gone through the Faith and Fury 2 Electric Boogaloo, and I've picked out 3 of the my top picks of things you might see.
Have you used a little sieve? Sieved out all the competitive goodness?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay,
out of these
can I
things...
ask another question before you get onto your competitive reduction, like a jam, or like Marmite, I guess. What is Faith and Fury 2? What is?
So it's an expansion with new rules for Chaos Space Marine Legions and for Black Templars and for Space Marines.
Is that how Games Workshop describe it? An expansion?
I don't know, but that's what it looks like.
Okay,
so that's what I'm calling it.
So it's similar to, I guess, realistically, it's a compendium of expansions similar to the Space Marine expansions, right?
Yeah. So of these 3, 2 of them are things I think you'll see a lot of. The third one I put in because Black Templar's got nothing, and I wanted to put something Black Templar related in.
You don't think they got much at all?
I don't think it was particularly inspiring. If I want to play Black Templars, I want to play a horde of melee tactical Marines.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't think it works that well when
I don't want
White
to be
Squares
holding
exist.
a Bible. I don't want to be shouting curse words. Yeah, and just the whole thing.
Exactly. Make sure it's bound with iron.
Every time I see a woman, just throw a book at her. Like that's the thing.
You are mine now.
Yeah,
that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
You know. All right. Cool. So the first one I'm going to go for is I'm going to go for a Space Marine one.
Yeah.
Which you might have seen bouncing around. The reason I'm doing this is so we can go Space Marine, Chaos, Space Marine.
Okay.
Rather than having Chaos, Space Marine, Space Marine. So I want to talk about something that I have listed here as the Horrendous Tech Marine. So this is something that's been bouncing around.
The Horrendous Tech Marine.
It is a Horrendous Tech Marine. So a few people have been talking about this on the internet. Just saying, one second, excuse me. Just need to...
Okay, Tom's been sickened.
Yep, no, I
Audio
need to clear my throat. It's fine. I've got a beverage. I'm all right.
Okay, everyone, just take a moment. Good job, Tom.
I need to calm myself down for this. Okay.
The show seems really silly today. We
Well,
just
I
seem
don't-
to be
No,
not
legit,
in a
like,
bad way. Not like I'm loving
I have
it.
a cold. What do you want me to do?
No, I'm loving it. I'm just saying. Please continue.
All right. Okay. We're good. So there are a few combos you can use with this Tech Marine. So the Tech Marine you can take, and then you can upgrade it to a Master of the Forge, which is 1 command point. And what this does is it allows the Tech Marine to always repair 3 wounds on vehicles when it's repairing, right?
Right. Good.
So that's all right. It's not too bad. It's okay. Now Goonham, we're talking about putting him on a bike and then chasing around flyers with your 14-inch roof and +6-inch advance, which I'm not going to advocate for because you can't take him on a bike unless you're taking index. But you could also, if you were doing that, let's say in playing an event where you can use indexes, you can give your Tech Marine the relic, which is called the Endurant Protector, which gives the Tech Marine +1 toughness and a 4+ invulnerable save. So that would make the Tech Marine toughness 6, 2 up armor, 4+ invulnerable save, which is pretty tanky, not too bad at all. But here's the thing. The good thing about this that I think you'll see a lot is the warlord trait called Master of the Machine, which you can give to a Tech Marine, as Alandral's already pointed out, it's pretty broken. And it allows you to pick a vehicle within 6 inches and give it +1 to hit when resolving its attacks.
Is
So
it
you
just
could
one
put
or
that.
is it all?
Just
I
one
thought
vehicle.
I thought it was 1. I think it's 1. The chat could correct me because I believe I've read it properly. But if it's all, that's silly good. But this is still silly good.
+1 to hit
I,
on any vehicle.
on any vehicle. So that obviously ratios up some of your like repulsor damage and things like that quite a lot. But here's the thing. It's a 6-inch bubble. Okay, there you go. Mr. Bridges already got it. So there you go. Everyone gets +1 to hit, which is utterly silly. But even if it's just one vehicle. So let's say you nerf it and make it 1. It's any vehicle.
I reckon that's absolutely nailed on to be nerfed.
Yeah.
Once everybody tells Games
Yeah.
Workshop how broke it is,
No,
and they go,
but what I'm saying is
that's
if
broken."
it does change that way, because how else are you going to do it? How else are you going to nerf this other than to say it's now one vehicle? You've seen it done with
perfect.
Salamander.
But
right,
even
it should-
even
it
even
should be that.
+1, even just one vehicle is
Yeah,
still great.
even just one vehicle.
Yeah.
So if we take it on one vehicle, I also think that the criteria for what it's going to be hitting is too broad. Remember how the Castellan was nerfed last year
Yes.
and how it was hit with a points increase? I don't have the book. I've gone off what I've seen from everybody else.
Okay.
And what they say is it's vehicle. So if someone can double check that for me, and if it affects all vehicles, do you think you'd see the Castellan come back if that affected it?
Oh, what +1 to hit on a Castellan?
If it affected it.
Yeah, that's pretty good because he'll be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, right? Oh no, wait. Can you get reroll 1s?
On a Raven one, if it's House Raven, yeah.
Wow. Hit on 2s, rerolling 1s. Did you
'Cause
miss much?
Well, I did double check this because I even went into the Goonhammer article, and they're very, very good on these things most of the time.
Yeah.
Is it just says vehicle?
Yeah.
So you dump that on a Castellan. Maybe now you're talking.
Yeah, but like Byron Sally says, you lose doctrines though. It's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they are very, very strong.
You do, but it depends on what your list is built around, right? So let's say you wanted to do a mixed Imperium army and you weren't necessarily building a there you go. Okay, so there you go. Goonhammer got it wrong. So I can't, it's chapter then. So Alandral's got the book, apparently.
So it's chapter vehicles.
It's chapter vehicle, so it isn't that. So what that's gonna do, that's just gonna sit in the middle of repulsors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently,
'Cause they've got a
like if
million
it doesn't
shot.
get nerfed, it's going to sit in the middle of 3 repulsors, and they're going to be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s.
Mhm.
And I wonder if there's any like big vehicles. I mean, even dreadnoughts, right?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
gonna
you
work.
could still do that, especially with 4-12 dreadnoughts like the Mortis or the Contemptors or anything like that, right?
Yeah, there's an option. You probably want to put. I mean, 6 inches is pretty. If it's wholly within 6, then I doubt it's that though. It's currently probably 6. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, still very good though.
Yeah, it's still very, very good, and you'll see that a lot, especially with the healing. I mean, you can double heal as well with stratagem as well.
So it's just another Iron Hands thing.
Well, it could be another Iron Hands thing. It's another repulsor thing,
So you
really.
could put you could get a
Yeah.
Raptor.
Yeah, and a lot of
Raptor.
the 4-12 dreadnoughts are 2+ to hit, but what it does is it allows you to then, let's say you've hit a list where, and -1 is quite prevalent. For example, things like you're hitting Eldar Flyers, for example, that potentially could be a problem, or things like Alpha Legion, because I think you might see a few Alpha Legion popping up here. Because the second thing I wanted to talk about with the Alpha Legion stratagems. Now, I've picked out 3 here that I really, really like. One of which I haven't seen talked about.
So this is Chaos now. We're moving on to Chaos.
Yeah, moving on to Chaos, because that was a really smooth segue and I wanted to make use of it. And the Tech Marine, you'll see it. It's pretty strong. Just be aware of that. So I've got 3 stratagems listed here that I really, really like. The first one is called Conceal, and it's worth 2 CP. And you use it at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, and you pick an Alpha Legion unit. These are all Alpha Legion stratagems from your army. And until the end of the phase, it can't be shot at unless it's the closest target.
Oh, wow.
So, Nikos, you play a lot of Alpha Legion, right?
Yep.
What do you think you could use that on? What do you think would be good? Because I know a lot of people use it with aberrants for Gene Stealer cults and things like that as well.
Havocs?
You could use it on Havocs. Yeah, that'd be good. Because what you can then do is you can sit them at the back of the board and just shoot things, and then it's not like,
Yeah.
and also you're not going to be the closest.
Are there any squishy shooting units that you want to just make it untargetable?
Yeah, exactly. You could use it on Obliterate. Obliterate is a slightly shorter range and a bit more durable anyway, but you can do it. Very another one. Corn Berserkers you could do too. But again,
Yeah, Corn Berserkers, that'd be nice.
it's about being the closest unit though, so you need to be careful with that one.
Yeah, they're usually going to be the closest.
But it gives you a way of getting them there.
Yeah, so that's not a
Mm.
unique stratagem. It's something we've seen before, similar things,
Mm.
but it's something that the Alpha Legion now have access to for 2CP. I'm then going to go on to my third one because my second one's my favorite. So the third one is called Scrambled Coordinates, and that's 1CP, and you use this in your opponent's movement phase. And when they're setting up a unit arriving as reinforcements, but before it's placed on the table, that unit has to be set up more than 12 inches away from any Alpha Legion units in your army rather than 9 inches. So, interesting thing here. This doesn't work on things like the jump because it has to be used in your opponent's movement phase. And then the jump will be placed down in your opponent's psychic phase.
Mm-hmm.
So what you end up doing is you're going to be using things coming in from reserve, like Nikos's Grav or Nikos's Bloodletters or something. But if your opponent's got a unit that's high impact dropping in, your opponent says, right, it's coming in, and then you drop the stratagem, and then they have to stay outside of 12 inches. But also, so it only affects one opposing unit, but it's one of those things where they're still going to find it very, very difficult to actually get anywhere. Because if you're taking things like Alpha Legion, a lot of the time you'll have things like big units of 40 cultists, and if you have them all the way across the front, then you're going to be pushing them off quite effectively. It basically just means that you can't get charged out of Deep Strike by one opponent unit, by an enemy reserve unit from Deep.
I think maybe
just
the only
one.
way around that would be Gene Stealer cults with them when they minus D6 or whatever from the Deep Strike thing.
Yes, true.
So they go 12 away and then minus a D6.
And then you have the question of what takes precedence, the 3-inch thing or the 12-inch thing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it might be at the same point, right?
Yeah, and I guess it would be.
I think it would be the player.
The Gene Stealer cult one, exactly, because the Gene Stealer cult player says, "Okay, well, you use your scrambled coordinates first. That's 12 inches, and now I'm going to use my perfect ambush or whatever it is for 3 inches, which overrides you." So that's a potential there. The final one, which I really really like, is called Sabotaged Armory, and it's 1 CP, and you use this when an enemy vehicle is destroyed. And if you have any Alpha Legion units on the table, your opponent adds 3 to one of the D6 rolls for the explosion roll and can't reroll the results. Now, I wanted to get the chat's opinion on this because I haven't actually got the book exactly to hand. Is this +3 to the roll to see if it explodes, or 3 to the amount of damage done?
Oh.
I haven't seen the rule, but I would imagine it's
+3 to
the roll, the explode roll.
Yeah.
This is the thing, because if it's that is insanely good for 1 CP.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it
really
also
good.
means you also can't reroll the results. So there are 2 impacts here. If you're hitting repulsors, there you go. X-Tab's got it. So let's say you're playing repulsors, for example. Here's first one. We saw how much damage an exploding repulsor did to Patrick's army at Blood and Glory.
Yeah.
It did 46 mortal wounds.
Wow.
That also means that you're now blowing up on a 3+ and you can't CP reroll it, which is massive. That's a huge amount of potential damage. The second one, what if you're playing against Tyrannus Knights? Now, Tyrannus Knights, if they blow up, they can't get back up. So now,
nice.
you've got a 1 in 3 chance of actually even being able to roll to get back up.
But it also means that you can it changes your target priority around a lot as well. So you focus on a vehicle inside of an army, let's say, and you're like, oh well, it's not high on my priority list, but I'm going to use my strat to try and blow that up where it is because it's located in a really solid place.
Yeah.
So it can really change the shape of what you're doing in your turn, which I quite like that reactive. You get to enact a plan and then fulfill it, which feels very Alpha Legion-y.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then even things that imagine things that blow up on a 4+. Is there a roll that says a roll of a 1 to explode always fails?
No.
Don't think so.
That means that it's also going to explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is going to be hilarious. So, I mean, a lot of people have been saying about stratagem is situational, but it's situational in the right situations that you need it to be good.
Yeah.
So you're going to hit
the great situations. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're hitting
your
repulsors, now you have something to do.
Yeah, your opponent's vehicle potentially exploding is a great situation for you. So
it also means all those bubbles, like we talked about earlier, the 6-inch bubble, like they're not going to be stood around their 6-inch bubble now, right?
Datcom, there's a delay on the stream chat, so don't worry, I'm not stealing opinions. Who do you think I am? A CSGO caster. But I think that's a really, really useful toolkit. It's okay. So the CSGO subreddit had to go at a caster for, quote, stealing someone's opinion that he'd never read.
Oh,
because apparently that's disgusting. So
excuse me. That's how I commentate live stream games. How dare you?
exactly, you steal people's opinions from the chat. That's why it's live. So yeah, man, 1 CP plus you add in these 2 toolkit stratagems like conceal, which you could still build around if you want to anyway, and scrambled coordinates. And you've got some really nifty stratagems in there.
That's very cool. That's very
not too
cool for
bad,
Alpha
yeah.
Legion.
Yeah, I think you might be seeing quite a few of those. Alpha Legion might be coming back in a little bit of a way, especially even as an ally. Because what you could do is you could take, as Nikos says, the Havocs, or you could take a few Alpha Legion units, and then you take demons, and you take the Plague Bearer Horde. I mean, it's kind of awkward because what that does mean though is Sabotaged Armor isn't going to get procced as well, because the issue with that is if you're taking demons, you're not as likely to kill a repulsor, for example. Whereas if you go for like a full-on like shooter unit full of havocs, and then maybe you go for like some demonettes just to run into one's face quickly and just go nuts. I mean, you could do something with that. I reckon there's a little bit to work with for chaos here, especially in the current meta. So that could be really, really interesting.
The reason I stopped playing Alpha Legion is because I was fed up of saying to my opponent, that unit's -1 to hit. That unit's -1 to hit. Like, you had to say it about 10 times during your opponent's shooting phase. It's really
Do
frustrating.
you know that's -1 to hit?
Yeah. And like the amount of times you'd be like, they'd
Not
get
if
to
you're
the
a
end
2+
they'd get
dread.
to the end of the attack sequence and they go, did you do the minus to hit? And they're like, oh no, fuck, sorry, I forgot.
I quite like to play Alpha Legion. Alpha Legion is pretty cool. It's cool that they got a good update.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
got no doctrines, no Space Marine doctrines, anything like
No,
that.
none of the Chaos Marines did. Like, they didn't get like a direct port over. Like, it really isn't. Yeah, like the power level is quite severely different in my opinion.
And then the final.
Space Marines
Sorry.
have got a layer of rules that no one else has.
Yeah, they have an additional layer of rules no one else has, and they can go Space Marines into their faction and then a successor chapter. So they could be 3 layers combined deep in extra rules. Well, 2 layers deep.
So the final thing we're going to do is we're going to play a game of guess the points.
Yes.
And I'm
play
gonna
Guess the
run
Points.
with Chaplain Grimaldus, the big bad boy from the Black Templars.
Okay.
So this is the famous named character, appeared on the artwork in the last codex and all that jazz. So Chaplain Grimaldus is a chaplain. He has some decent counter charge. His Rosarius
He's
is
a Black
plus-
Templar chaplain as well.
He is. He's +2 strength for his Rosarius for strength 6. He's AP -2 and damage 2. That's in close combat.
Okay.
He can deny a psychic power as if he were a psyker. And he knows 2 litanies, and per battle round, he can use both of them.
It's important
So
he
he's a
denies the
chaplain.
psychic power as well because they don't have any
man.
psychers.
They do have a stratagem for Black Templars, though, that allows them to deny psychic power on a 4+. He has access to the hate and battle disciplines. And then he has access to the devout, litany of the devout disciplines as well. So he's got access to 3 disciplines, he knows 2, and he can cast both of them. So he can dole out quite a lot of buffs. And in the devout discipline specifically is a litany called Litany of Divine Protection, which has a 6-inch range and can give a 5+ DPR to a Black Templar unit within 6 inches. So it's basically Fortune doling out.
Nice.
From your chaplain. And then he can obviously give out the +1 to wound as well, the +1 to hit. So he can just dole out 2 buffs. Pretty nice. Also has a 6-inch aura where 6 is to hit in close combat, generate an extra attack as well. So he's got some decent counter charge potential. So he's basically a chaplain that can give out more buffs and has better counter charge and can deny psychic powers.
So what you're saying is he's got a lot of baked in goodness in, like, he doesn't need to even, like, you don't need to have anything else in addition. Just everything he can do on his data sheet is already really, really good.
Yeah, he's got a lot of force multiplication rules, and he's got some counter charge which you want in a force multiplier. So, for example, Calgar able to charge back in and hit something as it hits you is pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah. Are you asking us to guess the points?
Yeah, but I know it's quite
Guess
vague.
the points.
Guess the points.
I'm going to
Pocket
go
John's
for...
gone for 110 in the chat.
Oh, you thought it was
I
the
was
right
going to
answer.
go for 110 as well.
I'm going to go for...
So there you go. Datcom for context. A regular chaplain is 72 points, and you can get a second litany for 1 CP.
Ooh. Oh, so he does two. So he does a CP worth of litany extra. 100 points.
What did you say, Nikos?
110.
Okay, he's 90.
90 points.
He's 18 points more than a
18
regular
points more
chaplain.
than a regular chaplain.
Now,
And he's
if the
got
rest
so
of
much more.
and if the rest of his book was any good, then maybe you'd see him. But as it
Maybe
stands,
they thought that was enough.
Yeah.
I'm
They
not
thought
a
we'd
massive
give him
fan
a
of the
super
rest.
character.
I'm not a
That's
massive
it.
fan of the rest of the book, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think there's too much that they bring that's unique, that will also make them stand out on.
So Black Templars are a close
competitive
combat
stage.
army that don't
True.
have any incredibly good close combat units.
You don't necessarily even need to have like really good close combat units, because you already have that in terms of like White Scars. They hit quite hard, they're quite quick. You can have your own identity as a close combat army. You could just have a horde of Crusaders or Neophytes just running across the board. But unfortunately, I don't think they have enough to make that work competitively. I think the Neophytes in particular are too expensive for 11 points, and they're basically scouts. So I'm not.
I think what
a
Black
massive
Templars need
fan.
is they need Primaris models.
They're Chaos
They
Marines.
need some sort of
But they did
combat.
just they
but then
just
you
had a
have-
Chaos release.
But then you have the problem that if you give them the Primaris Marines, then you kind of have to go down the route of being a bit more elite, because you can't really hoard the Primaris and then just run at people.
I know. I'd love
Unless
to,
you have
I'd
like
love
a
to see,
built-in
I'd love to
DPR or
see
something, you know.
I know they have the Reavers that are kind of combat weapon and bolt pistol, but I'd love to see some Primaris.
Maybe if you gave them
Dudes
like a
with rocket
built-in
chainsaws
5++.
just running at people. Maybe
Yeah.
like big double-handed chainswords.
Mate, if you gave them
That'd
that
be
old rule they
badass.
used to have, where when something dies, they just run at you, that might be funny. But I'm not a massive fan. You're not particularly. You don't really care too much about their doctrine. It's a bit garbage. So you could run them in a soup type list potentially, but
You're just
on
reading
their own.
You're just reading .com's comments again, Tom. He's literally just typed that.
I did actually just steal that one.
Good. That's good. We should do that in the
upsetting.
future. We should do that all the time. I don't really see like the opportunity to do that close combat and it working really well in the game, especially with just the sheer volume of fire that's out there at the minute. It just doesn't like. How do you get there?
But
Like,
Land Raiders, man.
okay,
There you go. That'll do it.
stop. You have to
Drop
tell
pod-
people you're being
drop pods,
sarcastic.
drop pods.
Drop pods. Sure. Yeah, I just don't see it. Anyway, okay, all right. Yeah, like it seems a bit of a shame for. It seems like Marine players have got a bonus there, really. Chaos haven't. So
I mean, neither of Space Wolves, so
what? Haven't got a bonus?
would you suck?
No, they just suck. Yeah, they suck loads. Which
they
is
do
a
suck.
shame. All right. Well,
is true.
exciting. If any more hot picks come out, we can do those next week, right?
Yeah, man, it'll be good to get a proper rundown. And I don't know what's coming out next week, but we'll see, I guess.
Well, so this is a battle codex still for us to cover as well, really.
There is. This is true. We can cover a bit of that.
Yeah, which is fun because there's a
And
very
I'll watch it
unique.
for proof.
There's a really unique character inside the Sisters of Battle Codex who's got a wound chart very similar to like a knight, but it's got attendants around it, and as wounds are taken, more attendants are taken away, and they lose. It's like a big buff piece, and it loses. So it'd be really cool to cover. But again, I don't think that there's a digital pre-order, so you have to get a physical hands-on side of on a copy of a book. So not the easiest thing to achieve, or a,
Do you think that's because it's harder for people to remember?
yeah, or a remembered copy of.
That's
the
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the Relic Parade. That's correct. If only we knew someone who had the book. Why does Scribs have the book?
He must have it.
I mean, I did ask him, the chat if anyone had the book.
That's okay. Right. Okay. Well, it's been a fun time.
Yeah, it's been good, man.
More 40k. Are you guys doing any 40k this weekend, or are you both having the weekend off?
I might be doing some Age of Sigmar. We'll see.
Wow.
No, I'm playing some 40k.
Oh, where are you playing and what are you doing? You're back. You're back. You've had your 3 days off.
Yeah, practicing for the team tournament, the Hellstorm one.
When's that again?
Testing out my Nurgle and Zinch list.
The eyeballs.
No, not the eyeball. I did use my eyeball Greater Demon the other day, but I'll be using. I could actually use him actually, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's on the wrong basing. That's the only thing.
Oh,
Basing doesn't match the army.
that's a shame.
This is sad.
That's a shame. When I come back, so I'm away in Sweden this weekend myself tomorrow, for covering an Age of Sigmar event. But then when I come back, I am painting up some Mechanicum. getting them battle ready, so get them on the tabletop with the hope of over the Christmas period getting quite a few games of 40k in. So when we come back to the new year, I'll be able to play some 40k. So I'm looking for some games, and I'm hoping my friend Chris Seaton is available for some gaming. As are you two. As are you two. Then you can teach me the ways. I am really looking forward to it personally, because I'm going to take a list that I'm going to call 63% of the time I'm going to win every time.
Yeah, sounds good.
What do you think of that list design?
I think that is that 63% based on 50% of the time you're going to get the first turn, and then the extra 13% is from seizing.
Correct.
Nice.
What if you get seized on though? You need to factor that in.
Yes, I'm still going for 63%. I'm making a claim. I'll not get seized on in 2020.
You won't play any games of 40k in 2020, then?
I'm going to play 25 games at least. 25 to 50 is my plan.
You're going to take second turn every game, aren't you?
I am going to go first. And 63% of the time, I'm going to win every time. What are you going to do about that?
Hide in the corner.
He is.
Is this what the game is now? Is the game hide in the corner hammer?
This is what 40k is now. You hide in the corner.
Indirect fire.
Half your stuff is off the board until you've cleared enough space for it to come on. And then you drop it down and kill your opponent.
I'm doing it.
That's how it works now.
Tom, what do you think? Agree or disagree?
I love it, mate.
Love it. Okay. Well, thank you very much thank you to both of you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me as well, Rob, live in the studio.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Tom, live via the airwaves, which have survived an entire show now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like your phone is like stronger than the actual.
Oh, no. We just reset the router.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I threatened it.
Yeah, Nick threatened it with his tech powers.
With physical abuse.
Thank you to everyone in the chat, like Pokey John, who's just said Corner Hammer, and Bar on Saturday, who's talking about the James Workshop boot camp weekend every weekend. Yeah. I'd like to come to that. Can I ever come to the boot camp?
Yeah, sure.
Here's the thing. Nikos gets the James Workshop boot camp. Me and Scrivo get the Team Wales boot camp, and Rob gets to sit in here and watch like Colbert or something.
I want to go to some
presenter boot camp.
Can someone invite me to the boot camp? So I'd like to boot camp.
Are you Welsh?
No one's ever invited me to a boot camp.
Are you Welsh?
No.
Well, can you pretend to be Welsh?
No. I tried to do an entire stream doing it, and the answer, according to everyone, was I cannot. But we might be covering a 40k event in Wales soon, right?
Yeah, man.
Looking to do some 40k coverage next year.
Yeah.
So let us know if you would like some 40k games covered by a professional team of jack-o'-lanterns and hootenannies. Thank you.
And if you want any evidence of how professional the stream is, just listen to the start of this stream.
Yes, please do.
That's the point. I need to go and fix my shelf, don't I? Like
you do. Is the AOS event you're attending going to be streamed this weekend? The Honest War Game is actually streaming two Age of Sigmar events. So we are streaming the Doubles Crimbobo event with, this is quite exciting, a Nathan Prescott production of live streaming. Obviously, the live streaming that you see from Games Workshop, I mean, it's a shit version, but and from the Honest Wargame are my original versions of how I think wargaming should be streamed. Obviously, the Honest Wargame has improved a lot. Games Workshops have not. But never before have we allowed someone else the tacit reins. The kind of, to attack the problem of how do you make Warhammer games entertaining. And Nathan Prescott has decided that he is in charge of the team of Scrivo and Chucklebuty and potentially Tom and a bunch of other people. And he is going to be the one who's going to lead the charge on a different way of covering a game.
Where are you going to be, Rob?
I'll be in Sweden covering Europe's largest Age of Sigmar event this year.
Nice.
I say Europe because obviously, technically, UK are not part of it anymore. But, but so there's going to be 100 Swedish people from Sweden, the Netherlands, Germany. So I think there are 5 or 6 nations in attendance at the event. So that's really exciting.
Nice.
Nice. So you guys should come and check it out. Streaming 2 events this weekend. There we go. Thank you to everyone on the podcast. I hope you stay hydrated. Thank you to everyone on Twitch who's joined us. Love you loads. Thank you to everyone who's written just absolutely anything in the YouTube, including Tom and Nick. That would be both of you. Every video, just write something. For the algorithms. Yeah. Just get in there. Just say some words. Like it. Yeah. Just hit likes a lot. I appreciate that tons. To the one guy that keeps doing the down button. Yeah,
It's about that guy from like Texas from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're not upset about it. Keep doing it.
No.
We love you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living in his head rent free, dude. It's fine.
And we're going to get a review on Sweden's medical care. I hope not.
I just want to hear about all the shit bags taped to the walls, man. It's going to be good.
Right. Thank you to you two. Any final thoughts?
Black Templars could be so much better.
If Games Workshop can write rules.
I hope Comberserkers are all right now because they don't hide in the corner and I might play them.
What are you going to do when I only bring Cat Front Destroyers?
That's a point. Yeah.
Ask me that. Riddle me this. Riddle me that. What do you do
Go back
if
to
I
the
win
corner.
the first turn?
Go back to the corner.